Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another stupendous night of Sci-Fi Vision presents Phantom Access.
Hello.
Hello, Jamie.
Sorry about that. I was rushing to get here because you guys are having issues, but hello. I guess I don't know what all you said, but if you're listening to us and haven't, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's appreciated. The only thing I did want to mention before we got started was that we're having Nia Sandaya, who plays Aquila from Yellow Jackets, is going to be on our live stream with me and Scarlett, but I have it scheduled for Thursday. So if you see that, it's not going to be Thursday. I found out that there was a mistake with the scheduling and it needs to be rescheduled. And I didn't want to delete the link because then it won't work. But the date needs changed. I'm waiting to hear back. So just keep checking the YouTube page as well as our social media, and I'll make sure that the date gets updated. And of course, we have another actress, Vanessa Prasad, is coming as well in a few weeks. We don't have an exact date yet, but that's all getting set up. So, all right, that's what I wanted to say. So I guess Karen is going to be a few minutes late.
What happened?
Yeah, she's trying to get, I guess, in. I don't know. She's having issues too. She's trying to get a hold of somebody. So in the meantime, did you see anything else this week that you want to mention while I'm posting here? No, that's helpful.
I barely have time for TV.
Not that I'll go into it, but like I said, I did get to see Captain America today. I know we were going to talk about it once you guys have seen it. I enjoyed it. The only main thing I'll say without spoiling anything else is I will say I am disappointed that the whole thing with Harrison Ford had been spoiled pretty much to everybody. If you ever watched the trailer for the movie ahead of time, because I think that it would have been a nice reveal. So if you somehow avoided the spoiler, don't watch the trailer. But there's some other nice surprises in it, and I liked it. I mean, even the original Captain America was never, my favorite of the bunch, but I did enjoy it, and I think it was good. It was fun. So
Karen will be here in a second.
Yeah, she's having issues. She's getting here, and I reposted hopefully to Discord. I'm also going to here, if I can get my comments open here, I'm going to put the Discord link in the chat again. Please, if you haven't, make sure that you do join our Discord, because you can get updated information on our times of everything going on, watch parties, live streams, interviews, all that good stuff, plus talk to some other fans. Because we have our watch parties before our live stream. Saturday, me and Karen have our Severance live stream, and Sunday, Scarlett and I have our Yellow Jackets live stream. And we have a watch party before each of those. And we also have, we drop the episode for Yellow Jackets when it comes out.
There she is.
Thursday, early Friday, whatever you want to call it. And also this Sunday on Yellow Jackets, we don't have it scheduled yet, but we don't have the schedule up yet. But we're going to be on Sunday joined by Antler Queen, Cyber Queen Media. We're doing a collab for the Yellow Jacket stuff this week. So, and Karen is here. Welcome, Karen. I was trying to fill some space. She's still muted. There you go.
Hi, sorry. I had a little login problem, as you know.
That's okay. We're all good.
But I'm here now. So, hi.
Yay.
Nice to be back with you guys.
Nice to see you guys. So tonight we have the 7th episode of Paradise to talk about, which is not the season finale. We're always a week behind since it airs on Tuesday. And then when we're done that, we have Reacher episode 4 of season 3. And then we're going to talk, or at least me and Karen are going to talk about the premiere of 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. So, but we will do Paradise first. So what did you guys think of this episode?
God damn. we got a lot of our questions answered because this whole time we've been like, was it the natural disasters? Was there a nuclear war? Like what exactly? And it was both. The natural disasters started, and when it started, it just the scientists miscalculated. I mean, we see Cal. He's like, I thought we were supposed to get a warning. I thought the first thing would happen, and then we'd have like a couple weeks. And they're like, yeah, we may have miscalculated that. But then what I thought was really interesting was, so the natural disasters started, and the superpowers all started jockeying for position. Like, they were already like, all right, once this is all done, this is where the resources are. So we need to bomb the shit out of this area so we can overtake it. I mean, Russia and China were going nose to nose, trying to take over each other's territory, hoping to be the ones that survived all these natural disasters. And then they never established who sent the nukes at the U.S. because they're like, hey, we've been hit. Who sent? And they were like, well, who shot at us? And we're like, we're not really sure. So could have been anybody. Doesn't really matter who shot at us. The point was that a couple of nukes did land. And it was a really intense episode. There was a lot. I had a lot of damn holy shit moments. Like when Robinson shot that guy, like was just like bang, done, get out of here.
Oh, to save him. Yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, and and Xavier was like, he wasn't gonna shoot, and she's like, it doesn't matter, we don't have time for this shit. Let's go.
It's like they're gonna die anyway. And
exactly. He's dead. He's dead anyway.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I felt really bad for the blonde woman who apparently had been with Cal since he was a senator. Yeah, her.
Yes, I feel bad for her too.
I felt bad for her because that's kind of fucked up that they didn't include her in the 25,000. Like as long, she's been with Cal that whole time. I would have been. She should have been one of the first people on the list. Like that's messed up. But yeah, I mean the whole episode was.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, AJ, but that's why Cal wasn't in charge. That's why, they had what's her name, Gabriella, created an algorithm and a system to pick people. I mean, I don't know. She got disqualified. She has a child that has some. She just mentioned that her child had needed medications, and had some special needs or something. I'm not sure that's a disqualifying factor. We don't really know that.
She probably just wasn't important enough.
Well, some people appear to be. It's not really clear to me, we just don't know, what the why people got picked. Some of them were important, like the bartender said he only got in because his wife was like a genius scientist, right? Mm-hmm. People had different. Yeah, I mean, you can't.
Jen's saying the whole selection process was wrong. Yeah, I think the thing that I don't think is fair is I feel like the ones that worked for them, they could have, I don't know, had so many extra seats or something for these people, because that's who you feel the worst for, the ones that did everything for them and then they got screwed in the end.
Yeah.
Although this is why he wasn't supposed to tell people. I kind of liked that Cal actually told the truth, because it was interesting, because it's not the way it usually happens in the show. And I enjoyed seeing that, but at the same time, it lets you see the chaos of why this was a bad idea.
Oh yeah, I mean, I see both sides of it. I understand why you want to keep something like that quiet, but at the same time, I really like what Cal did, because he's like, everybody's gonna die. It is what it is. He gave people a chance to say goodbye. Which I thought. I mean, they really humanized Cal in this episode. You really, you kind of, you don't feel sorry for Cal, but you empathize with him more, and and realize that there was other things that we didn't have the whole picture.
Yeah.
Like Xavier's reason for hating Cal was valid until you find out what Cal did in the end.
Yeah.
So
it almost would have been nice if he had been able to tell everybody like he did, but he did it after they were out, on air, had somehow been able to do it on Air Force One or something, after they were away from everybody in his cabinet that got left to die. But
Yeah,
it's interesting too.
Well,
I just want to point out
Sorry,
one thing. The thing that I think is interesting though also is the parallels between Xavier and Cal and Xavier and that woman, that other picture you had on. If you go back to the other picture, Karen, with that woman.
blonde.
Yeah. Because he at one point is totally lying to her. He knows he's lying to her. He doesn't want to hurt her, but he says what he has to say. And there's like a certain point that Cal sort of did the same thing, although Cal did do more and Cal did try to save her and everything. And I'm not saying he didn't, but like I don't know. I just find it interesting because he was so mad and everything. And it's like he sort of had to do the same thing. And you would think that maybe he would realize it. But like I said last week, I think that Xavier blames himself. And I think that is the biggest
definitely
reason that he blames Cal because he needs somebody else to blame.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead, Karen.
I think no one is really to blame. I mean,
No.
to Jen's
Scientists,
point,
they miscalculated.
to Jen's point about how so many people had no clue, how did they keep it all a secret? Remember that it all happened so much faster than they thought that they were going to get rumblings from the volcano and they would have a period of weeks or even months before the catastrophe happened. And like, we don't know that there were never going to, like, it ends up blowing up and they only have like 5 hours to like call Versailles and scramble and run. Right. So maybe there were some plans. Maybe there weren't. I mean, but it definitely, whatever plans they had, they weren't able to really go with, right? Like, I don't know if the plan was to not let anybody know and just let us all die. Was there a plan that, I mean, obviously it was going to, maybe it was going to become obvious over time that the world was ending as this volcano got worse in Antarctica. That wasn't expected to, right? Like, did you guys understand it that way? That it all just like happened?
It did all happen faster, but I don't think they would have told the public. I really don't.
Look at the, and it's funny, our generalized mindset, you've got that reporter that's standing on top of that building and she's reporting and he's like, are you up high enough? She's like, oh yeah, we're way up here. This is why we're reporting from up here because we're going to be fine. And then, holy shit, what is that? And then the news anchor cracked me up because like you see this massive wave coming and the building's getting rocked by the smaller waves and this massive wave is about to engulf her and the feed cuts out and he goes, I think we lost her. No shit, you lost her. You didn't just lose her. She's dead. You lost her in a more of a way than just we lost the feed.
Yeah.
But, as far as not letting her, her not being part of Veritas, I mean, how many old people do you need? Versailles. I
like Veritas better for a code name. But go ahead.
But how many old crotchety people that are useless did you really need out of the 25,000? Because there's an old person they could have just kicked out.
Probably.
Well,
like the vice president.
Unfortunately, they probably couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, this is why, like, we don't know, like, it's not a good system to have Sinatra and Gabriella, like, making the plan, but it's better than having government make the plan because then you end up having people like, yes, I feel sorry for this woman because, she says, oh, I've been with Cal so long and how could you not tell me? But like everybody, the president owes so many people that helped him on his way up that he can't be involved or you just have the entire government and nobody else, right? You know who I feel sorry for? The 330 million people in America who died who like weren't picked, right?
Obviously.
Like
she's one of them.
I mean, I feel sorry for her. I think just because we knew her. You know who I really felt sorry for? The guy that was serving the cleaning guy.
Oh yeah, I felt bad for him too. That's why Cal was trying to tell him. I thought it was sweet. He's trying to tell him, go home, see your family. He was trying so hard to get him to.
It's funny because they kept focusing on that guy, and I kept thinking, wow, this guy is just like. At first, I didn't realize that the guy didn't realize that the world was ending. Like I thought he was just like, you know what, screw it, I'm going out, finishing my job, But then when Cal talks to him, he's like, this has happened before. Ain't the first time, won't be the last time. Somebody's got to clean up. And, it wasn't until Cal went back on the air that the guy was like, oh, shit, there isn't going to be a tomorrow.
Yeah. And I agree with Golden Child. I said that last week. I think that what he said to him was enough of a warning that he should have found a way to get his wife to stay. And I know you guys or at least Karen didn't seem to agree with me 100%, but if it were me, after what he had said to him, I would have been paranoid and considered that the time I needed to figure it out and fix it, just in case. But I'm also paranoid. So
they showed it in the previouslys, and Cal said, Xavier, maybe it's time you put your foot down with your wife, which is what I really objected to last week. Like, oh, put your foot down with your wife. You're the man. You tell her what to do.
Yeah, right? Like, I don't know that I love the wording of it, but I would have, if it was me, I would have taken that as the wording, and I would have been like, well, you need to figure out a way to fix it.
The problem is
maybe not done it quite that way, but
he says she hasn't done anything I've told her for 20 years. She's not and we don't know what her work was. Like, it's not like she wasn't a buyer for Bloomingdale's. She was, I
just feel like Xavier could have said, I can't tell you what's happening. I don't even know what's happening, but something's happening and it's dangerous and our family's more important. You need to stay home. Like, he could have done it in that way. That's how I personally feel. Like I said, I know last week you kind of didn't agree with me, which is fine, but that's what I would have done if I was Xavier.
That's where the problem is. The biggest part of the problem is Xavier doesn't even know. Like, he doesn't even know what lie to tell her to get her. You know what I mean? Like even Cal hasn't even told him. Just, hey, when the shit hits the fan, this is what we got to go.
Shit is about to hit the fan.
But I mean, on the flip side, though, he was told they'd have more time. When it was kind of like, okay, we got the earthquake. You better call your wife, tell her, listen, shit's about to go bad. Get her home. Nobody expected it to move this quick. But when Cal's like, oh yeah, tell her to go to this airport and everything. And the part where I think Xavier really gets pissed off is when he's like, when did you know she wasn't going to make it? And he's like, the minute you told me she was still in Atlanta.
And see, that was kind of what I was saying. Like, that parallels what he said to that woman. Like, he knew that her son was going to die. He knew she was going to die. And he made a decision to lie to her because that's what he had to do. And Cal did the same thing in that moment. And it's
the difference is Cal made a promise, we'll go get her.
Yeah, but like I said last week,
I'm not saying
but the fact of the matter is, I mean, like, if it were me, whether he made a promise or not, I would be smart enough to realize, hey, you can't put the whole United States or the whole, thousands of people in jeopardy for one person, whether you made a promise or not. It doesn't matter what I mean, it's not going to happen. I'm not saying that it's fair, but I mean, he should realize that. And I don't think it's fair that he's blamed him. And that's why I said, I really think a lot of it's because he can't accept it and that he blames himself more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, the chat is definitely agreeing. Misha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, thought Cal was pretty clear about this not being a good time to let Terry go. Let's assume that Xavier told her something world altering is happening when Cal told him.
And he might have.
Yeah. I mean, we think Xavier didn't know anything. Like, it could be I don't even know if did Xavier know it was going to be a climate disaster? It could be World War III.
He knew nothing.
He doesn't know anything, right?
No, but he had an idea. It was like bad.
All they told him was an extinction level event might be coming.
Yeah, and
that's kind of vague.
Misha took Cal's words.
That's exactly my point. I would have, if I was Xavier, I would have found anything to say to her. It doesn't matter what it is. You say something, you get her to stay. And I do disagree with, Cal's words. You don't demand she stays as her husband, but I just feel like that there was a way he could have done it. And even if she wouldn't have listened, he should have tried a little harder. But I think he should have tried a little harder. With a little bit we've seen of Terry, she doesn't listen. I know. Yeah, if you want me to, that's not.
She would have. With what we've seen of her, she would have said, "Why do you need me to stay? What's going on? And
And
he
you
would have
make
said,
something up.
I don't know, I can't tell you. And she would have been like, well, if you don't know and you can't tell me, then I'm going.
But he knew
I
it was an
don't think it would
extinction
have done
level
any
event.
good.
He knew it
Yeah,
was something bad.
and Golden Child agrees also that when the president gives you advice, that should override everything. Now, remember, this president is like, he's a lightweight. He's drinking all the time. He's like, yes, he's the president. Yes, he has a lot of information. Yes, you'd agree him, but I'm not sure. While Xavier and Cal have become friends, I don't know. Like, I mean, Cal's not maybe a person that is taken seriously by not that I don't mean seriously like that not to believe him. I mean, he's just not a I don't know, you guys know what I mean about Cal.
Yes. Yeah, I know exactly what you
mean. But I mean, everybody pretty much agrees that Cal, I mean,
Cal's very personable and easy to approach, and you might forget sometimes that he's the president because he's never really demanding.
Yeah, and he's not very serious, but he's always joking and right.
Yeah.
This was the most serious I've ever seen him. I mean, I do agree that like if you said, Terry, don't go, something's gonna happen. Well, what? I don't know. Well, when? I don't know.
Extinction
well, how bad?
level event means the world is going to end.
He didn't know that. He didn't know that.
I thought that's what they said though when they read him in at the beginning.
They did say extinction, but we don't. But the problem is also, I mean, I don't know. I mean, how much does Xavier worry about being a good soldier when his wife's life is on the line? But they might be like, you know, you have to convince her to stay, but you can't tell her why. You know, and good
luck with that. Good luck.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's what Misha's saying, though, which is exactly what I said. Like, it doesn't matter. You just find something to say, however you say it.
But like, what does that mean? Lie, or just be like, I have a really bad feeling about this?
No, I think he could have said something is happening that could destroy the world or that could kill our family. We need to be together. I don't know, something like.
Hey, you know what? Actually, here's the bottom line: if this stuff doesn't happen, there's no season 2 storyline.
No, of course. That's just as a real person what I would do, not as a TV show.
No, I know.
It irritated me, but like I said, I get it, and I mean, I do also though agree partially with what you've been saying, Karen. I mean, he doesn't want to be like, you got to do what I say, and that would be bad. Right. But I think it depends on the person. Like I said, I'm somebody who I would be super paranoid. I would find any way to make it work. It wouldn't matter. I would just find a way. I would steal her car keys. I would do something. It wouldn't matter.
Her car keys? She had a car service.
Okay, car service. Well, then I'd steal her phone. I don't know. I'm just saying I would do something to make it so it didn't work.
All right. I mean,
that's the way I would react. Not everybody would react that way.
Whatever. I mean, Misha's comment that he doesn't have to say I have a feeling. He can say Cal told me. I think
steal her passport. I agree. Steal her passport.
She doesn't need a passport to go. Okay, she doesn't need a passport to go to Atlanta.
Her license. Steal her license.
What? I mean, come on. I do think Misha's making me think like this can't be the first time like he's discussed this with her. Like Xavier, probably like not. The whole family is cleared in the Versailles Protocol and will be, part of it. He has to have previously told his wife, like, this thing is happening. I don't know what it is, but our family's been cleared to be part of this. And when something happens, like, we're going to have to go in a second. Like, have they truly never had that conversation? That seems kind of odd.
Maybe not.
Unless he was told he wasn't allowed to tell her, and because he does everything he's supposed to, maybe he didn't. That's the only thing.
That's what I was saying before. Because he's such a good little soldier. I mean, I know wife and kids are different, but the kids had no idea what was going on. No, I mean, he talked to Presley and was like, "Stay close to Jeremy." That's all he said. He said, "You stay close to Jeremy. Don't let him out of your sight," because the kids had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, good thing his kids go to the same school as Jeremy.
Yeah.
That was convenient, but I mean, at any rate, like, I mean, she has important work to do. She goes and does. She's not home, and again, nobody thought that they were going to only have 5 hours notice. Like they figured they'd at least have a few days and be able to get her back. And Cal promises to go get her. And Cal did try to go get her. Like Cal was like, tell her to get to this Air Force base.
But Cal already but see, when Cal told him that, Cal already knew it was too late.
But he tried at least. He did do everything in
No,
his
he
power.
did that. He did that to appease Xavier for the moment. Because he tells Xavier later, as soon as you told me she was still in Atlanta, I knew it was too late then.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. He did say that. You're right. He said, "Oh, I knew it was too late." I remember that now, AJ. Thank you.
That's great, Misha. Do you see what Misha said? I'm kind of person. Yeah. Screw trying to be politically correct. I'll bust my hubby's kneecaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be like, you're getting here. I'll have, if I have to carry you, you're coming, right?
I mean, you know, I guess I don't know. I guess I keep resisting because, like, I feel like this conversation is like blaming Cal for what happened. I mean, blaming Xavier for what happened.
No, it's not Xavier's fault either. I just think he could have handled it differently, and I think he blames himself. I don't think it's
definitely guilt.
I don't think it's really anybody's fault. I just think that it could have been handled better.
I told you it was the science's fault because they miscalculated.
It's and our fault for destroying.
I mean,
speaking of scientists, how great was it when they were interviewing the scientists and the guy that we see the guy from the original lecture, and he's on there, and he's like,
he's not in Versailles. He's not, right? He's not there with them in paradise.
But what I think is like the news, you know, him being on the news and everything, and they're like, and he drops an F-bomb, and they're like, hey, we don't need that kind of language here. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's the end of the world. He's like, this is it. Who cares?
But, you know, I feel though like she should have invited him because it's because of him that she did this.
When you say she, you mean
Sinatra. That she should have extended an invite to him.
To the extent that she had influence in that, yeah. I was kind of shocked with that poor guy.
What's her face there? Gabriella. You know, she wrote the algorithm and everything and whatnot. But exactly that. I mean, Sinatra was like, oh well, this person doesn't fit the algorithm, but this person's coming.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't all fair.
Yeah.
But I like that. I do appreciate though that they did it differently, and like it was people that would make a good society, and not just like the scientists.
Well,
not completely.
Yeah, no, that was a brilliant idea. I'm glad they did it that way because otherwise, this show is a very different show because otherwise all you have is the government and the 1%ers.
But that's what it usually is, and the scientists.
All you would have is a bunch of old white men.
Yeah.
But that's what usually happens in these shows. So I like that they tried.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I like the way they explained why, we had such diversity in, the 25,000 and it wasn't what you expected the status quo to be.
Yeah. I kind of think, we're talking about, look at me, don't blame the nerds. I kind of, I just flicked this incorrectly. I kind of feel like, Xavier blames Cal for not picking Terry up and not getting her on a plane and getting her there. But we saw that a lot of people didn't get picked up. We saw that like the guys on the other plane were like, we're not going to make it. Which I wonder, we saw like the generals were on another plane, right? That didn't, so a lot of people didn't make it. Like, I mean, Cal does, I think we have seen someone previously in this show say to Cal, like, do you think you're the only person who lost someone? Like the whole, like everybody lost their loved ones, right? Like, I don't know how many like intact, I guess a lot of intact families got in, but you still like lost a lot of people, right? Cal's very, I mean, his anger is more because he thought he had assurances that in the end didn't work out. And Terry's chances were, I mean, she's headed for Fort wherever to get on the plane. Part of the reason I think she didn't make, correct me if I'm wrong, but part of the reason, I mean, we don't know why, but Cal sets off the EMP, which was an amazing part of this episode.
Yeah, that was so unexpected that was coming.
Yeah, I've got some problems with that.
I do too, but like I have problems with it, like scientifically, but
but it was awesome.
But that is a thing that that prevents it. Like he loses contact with Terry. Any plane she maybe was going to get on is probably not going to work. Like it is stated that he's setting back for the survivors. Technology is set back 500 years. Except somehow for the plane, except somehow for the plane they're flying on and everything in paradise. Right?
Yeah, I know. What the heck is up with the fact the plane doesn't fall from the air? That part I didn't quite understand.
And why does paradise work?
They're shielded in I don't know, vibranium.
No, they're not. They're not because the description. Because they're not shielded because
no, they're not.
Because the only one that even knew, Cal is the only one that knew about it. Sinatra did not know until he told her.
Yeah.
So she couldn't prepared for that. So
the only thing I can say is if it was in the mountain, maybe it was somehow shielded by the mountain.
Nope.
Or
not the way he explained
maybe
it.
they would have lost power for a while and they should have showed that, but I don't know.
Everything from space to the farthest reaches of the planet would be shut down.
Does an EMP pulse though go that far? That was my other question. Like, how far do EMP pulses go? Because when usually in movies and stuff, and I don't know,
big EMP.
But usually they don't go that far.
If it's going to knock out your satellites and everything on the ground, that's powerful.
It's going to knock out.
Is my question, I guess, because in other shows it's usually isolated. Sorry, I'm not meaning to talk over you. Go ahead.
That's okay. It supposedly knocked out the entire world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow.
I mean, Misha also thinks that paradise is far enough underground that the EMP wouldn't work. I mean, for the purposes of this show, that is the case, right? Like,
yes.
I'm not a physicist. I don't know. But it was a powerful enough EMP that it supposedly knocked out the entire planet, right? So that nobody could fire nukes.
Well, yeah, knocked out the nukes. And I love the way it was done, though, because it knocks out the nuke headed towards Atlanta. But because you lose all coverage of any electronics, you assume that it was because the nuke hit.
Yeah. The plane should have fallen. That's the biggest thing. The plane should have fallen out of the sky. I'm looking this up because now I'm curious. And at least according to Google's AI, it can extend for hundreds of miles. But that's kind of what I wondered. Like, I don't think there could be a nuke big enough that could encompass the whole planet. I just don't think
EMP, you mean?
Okay, Jamie, real quick. You're having a problem with a nuke, an EMP that can encompass the whole planet, but you're okay with a civilization living in a mountain.
I didn't say the rest of it made sense. I said the plane should have fallen from the sky. I just was curious what the biggest EMP pulse is. It made me wonder. Because usually, in a movie, they're little EMP pulses, they don't go that far.
Well, yeah, but they're also not that big. I mean, this thing was massive.
No, this was like a nuclear. It was crazy.
It was like a nuclear. Yeah, exactly. It was like a nuclear EMP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's connected to satellites means
exactly. And the EMP was connected to satellites, which is how it's able to. It was a decent explanation.
Yeah, it just somehow avoids the plane.
Yeah, so maybe the EMP.
They didn't point it to Colorado.
Yeah,
maybe it was an EMP system that was connected to multiple EMPs that set off from the satellites or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that.
He did say it was being distributed by the satellites. So
yeah,
dude, it's some secret tech that we are unaware of, so it can do whatever they say. How was that?
It was great. It was a great twist. It really it was because we had talked about this a couple weeks ago. When Billy goes up above ground and he meets the scientists and they're like, "Oh, people are alive up here. We found a lady. She's alive, whatever." And the air is breathable. And we were we all assumed it was nukes, right? That there'd been some sort of nuke. Is it a climate disaster? Is it a nuclear disaster? How can they breathe? What's going on? The scientists are clearly shocked. And to find out that there is no nuke really changes my understanding of my thoughts about who could be alive upstairs and how, right?
Yeah.
And that it's not only the mountain civilization. Misha's on a roll. The mountain civilization is feasible. It's just very expensive. 6 dozen eggs, y'all. But here's a question. Why was Sinatra so set on him just setting off their nukes? I mean, is like a good question. So everybody's going to die anyway, right? Like if the planet's being wiped out, what's your problem with nukes? I guess if you ever hope to come outside of paradise and live on the surface again, like you can't have the whole place be nuked, right?
Yeah.
It could be like, I don't know, many years before the surface is livable, right? Or decades even, right?
Well beyond their life.
Yeah, so setting off the nukes is like why was she so set on him setting off the nukes?
Because she didn't care about anything beyond paradise. That's
true. We've said that before, that we think she doesn't care about anything out except for her perfect little world she's created in paradise, right? Is the only thing she cares about. Additional bloodlust. I mean, I don't think she was like, yes, set the nukes, kill millions of people. I do think I do. I mean, we've seen her order the killing of people before, right? She is
but I think it's more, we have something we don't want anybody else taking. At least that was her reasoning. Whether that was the real reason, I don't know, but that was sort of what she said. I don't think she wants to kill people. I don't necessarily think Sinatra is this evil person.
She just doesn't
care. No, I mean, she's bad, but she isn't. She's wrong and she's bad, but she isn't like some serial killer killing people because she enjoys killing them, is what I'm saying. Like
she had a woman killed.
What? No, no. See, listen. Sinatra did not start out bad, but she is evil. She is downright evil now.
She's evil, but there's more evil. Like I said, I always say there's levels of evil. She's not the most evil.
I think she's pretty bad.
I disagree. I completely disagree. Yeah. Because you know what? I'm now, hopefully this doesn't come out wrong, but Jeffrey Dahmer was evil, but there was something not wired right. She is worse because she is methodical and she knows what she's doing.
That's true.
I think she's really pretty bad. She had the survivor and all the scientists killed. She doesn't want anybody to know the surface is livable, because she doesn't want them to leave paradise. She never said we don't have the resources to accommodate survivors. She said everyone's going to want to leave and go check it out for themselves.
And then she drops
25,000 people are her prisoners for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, and she drops the bombshell that she believes that the killer is from the outside. She thinks they've already been infiltrated.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because I have some thoughts about that and I'm not sure. So she says, we have some comments here. Oh, good point. There would be no one alive to even look for their super secret bunker. I think Misha's referring to the nukes, right? Yeah. So yeah, maybe she did want to nuke the whole planet so that nobody would ever find they were under there, and she would just have her 25,000 prisoners in her perfect little dream world down there. She's definitely a control freak. Now, thank you, Misha, for trying to remember that she's a lady who thinks she's protecting her family.
It's going beyond that.
And she thinks she's honoring her son, right? She thinks she's recreated her son's vision of heaven, is what was behind her design, right? Dylan's saying it's just like here, only with more horses or whatever. But Jen thinks she's the female Lex Luthor. She knows she's a monster. I kind of agree with that. I think she knows she's a horrible person and she doesn't care, right?
Well,
she's really guilt about it.
The best line of this whole show is in the first 5 minutes before she starts, before we get all the flashbacks. I mean, everything she says to Xavier, and then she's like, "My God, can I sound any more like a Bond villain?"
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah, she is. So,
which reminds me, there was another good line in the episode going back to the scientist during the TV broadcast. I just remembered what he said. The newscaster asked him something like, "How bad do you think it's going to get?" And he's like, "Why don't you ask a fucking dinosaur?"
Oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, there's some good lines. I think what I really like about this show, though, is it has definitely surprised me at every turn. I do not expect the things that happen, which I really like about this show.
No, I agree. I think
it has not been predictable at all.
the twists that we've gotten haven't been gotcha moments. They haven't been outlandish. They've worked in the confines of the show. Like we had these questions. Was it nukes? Was it the weather patterns? What was it exactly? And then we find out, like I said before, it was both. The natural disasters is what prompted people to use the nukes. The twist with Cal at the end with the EMP. It wasn't this crazy last minute thing. It made sense in the structure of what we've been given.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about somebody from the outside killing Cal, though, because how the hell did they get to him?
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't know
the Secret Service was not very good at their job, for starters.
I feel though like at this point she has no reason to lie. Like whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But I think that's what she thinks.
It's not that she's lying; it's her theory, because she said that the reason that the DNA never made it to the lab was because she had it tested privately, and the DNA did not match anybody from Paradise.
And she didn't want them to know that, so she
right. So that's why
she said the DNA is not anybody in Paradise.
Right.
She didn't say the gun is not one of ours.
Wait, what?
She said the DNA is not any of them. The DNA.
That's what I said.
Right.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so I feel like if you could get a dog down there with nobody knowing and keep it a secret for 3 years, you could get a person down there and keep it. Somebody could have been down there for, right? Somebody could have. It was like total chaos.
Oh, I know. It's the Secret Lotus Society.
Yeah. Like in that movie, The Time Machine, the H.G. Wells story with the Eloy and the and the what are they called? The other guys. And some live above ground and some live below ground, right?
Yeah, I can't think of what they're called. I think it starts with an M, but
Morlocks.
Morlocks.
Morlocks. Morlocks and Eloy. And some of them lived underground.
I don't think she has a reason to lie, though. At this point, like I think
it's not a lie; it's a theory. It's a theory,
right? I said I think she believes that. I'm not saying whether it's true or not. I'm just saying I think.
Are you kidding me? You're kidding me. You choose of all the lying, liary lies she has told. This is the thing you choose to believe her on?
I don't see now why she has a reason to lie. She just told him all about his wife and everything, and he's got to go. I just don't see her having a reason to make it up. I'm not saying I trust her. I'm just saying I don't know why she would make it up.
I mean, really? Maybe you'd make it up because a man is about to shoot you in the head? Could that be a reason why you might make something up?
Oh, and actually, why didn't...
But she already told him about his wife. I feel like if she played her, like that was her card, was to get him not to shoot her, was telling him that. I'm not sure that's, adding, it's from the outside is going to make a difference whether he shoots her or not.
Yeah, I would have shot her right between the eyes.
I would have shot her. at the end of this.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, I texted you guys as soon as I watched this. I texted and I said, Xavier should have shot her. And AJ said, yeah, I would have shot her. Like,
and it's funny because when because you had texted me that and I'd already seen it, and that was my exact thought too. Was I would have shot her right between the eyes.
Yeah.
A specific moment too. It was one of the last things she says to him, and that's what I would have been like, and just pull the trigger.
Yeah. I think Xavier would have like good reason to doubt whether those recordings are authentic. I mean, I'm not saying I don't think they're authentic. I think why would you believe like she has the capability to test DNA and forensics and build an underground society and have like she can fake audio. I mean, you can deep fake somebody's voice now, right? She could have faked all those recordings.
Why would she have done that? Like had it all set up just so she could like lie to him if he came there with a gun?
Yes, she's Lex Luthor. She has a plan to save her whole yes. She I mean, she has been covering her ass since before Cal was killed. I'm still not convinced 100% that she's not behind having Cal killed. It seems like an infiltrator from above is sort of like kind of too easy, and it it wipes away all the clues we spent the last 7 episodes learning, right? Like I would maybe be kind of pissed if it turns out that it's a person we haven't met yet who secretly is from the I keep saying the upstairs, the surface, right? An infiltrator who's been there. The thing is, I said like the infiltrator could have been there for a long time, but they'd have to have help because you can't go anywhere or do anything without a wristband, right? So
I mean, that's very plausible. I mean, there could be, so we know Terry's, she doesn't know where she's looking, but she knows it's Colorado. Terry's looking. She might have amassed we don't know how old that recording is. She might have gotten a group of people by this point, and they're they could have infiltrated Paradise, and they could have people on the inside that are helping them. I would, depending on how the story is constructed, it's plausible.
Let me ask you something, Karen. Okay, we'll go first. What Misha says. That's what I was thinking at first. The voice was fake. I think what we know about Xavier, it's not difficult to imagine that he'd be the one doing exactly what he's doing. That is a good point. But what I was gonna ask you is actually about that. Is both you and AJ agreed with me that she's probably alive just because we have a season 2. So I guess maybe that's also why I partially believe it. Like, why would it be a lie if we're believing she's alive? Like, aren't both things true? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we believe she's alive, why do you think that it's a lie, but yet you think she's alive? I'm just kind of curious, Karen, like, why? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Well, so there's me and there's Xavier. Xavier doesn't have a season 2. He doesn't know he's on TV.
No, but I'm asking you, like, what makes you think she's lying when you also think his wife is alive? I'm just asking you, like, what makes you think that?
You're misunderstanding what Karen's saying. Karen's saying Xavier has reason to believe her.
Xavier's no reason to believe that those are real.
But I'm saying as a theory, when you're saying, well, okay, so you're saying you think that because Xavier wouldn't think that. Okay, I guess
she's speaking from Xavier's point of view, not from Karen.
Okay.
I thought we were going to see Terry alive right up until the moment we heard her voice. And now that I've heard her voice on this, I think maybe Terry's not alive. Maybe that is a fake. Maybe, look, it is well known. If Xavier and Gabriella know if Sinatra and Gabriella know anything about Xavier, they know the way to manipulate him is through his wife. And that that it's the major, like the loss of Terry on that day, he's still like emotionally effed up like 3 years later, which, okay, yeah, I'm not saying you should be over your wife in 3 years, but he's like, his hatred of Cal is barely concealed, right? And probably well known by a lot of people. And like, this is a way for her to manipulate him. Like she could have had this prepared. Like, I think she was well aware that Xavier was sort of a weak link in her murderous contingency plans with all of her hitmen that she brought down there. I mean, she brought hitmen down there because she's planning to have to kill people from when she conceived this society, right? This is not like she's an evil mastermind.
Yeah.
Like she brought assassins with her down there to assassinate people that are a problem. And if you're going down your list of 25,000 people who are going to be a pain in your ass, Xavier's going to be right at the top of it, right?
That's right. Now I remember why I would have shot her between the eyes. When she says to him, you're going to do what I say and fix this place or you'll never see your daughter again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she kidnapped the daughter.
That's when I would have shot her. So, yeah, remember, because last week we were speculating whether or not she knew that Jane had her because we only saw minimal contact between the two of them, and Jane never flat out said what she was doing. She just said, I'm going a different direction. That was the last we saw. Now we know she knows exactly what Jane's doing. That's when I would have shot her between the eyes.
I forgot about that. I forgot that Presley was kidnapped by Jane at the end of last week. After I had a lot to say about how stupid Presley is last week.
To be fair, Presley's a teenager.
Yeah.
They are stupid.
They are stupid. So
unless you're a teenager listening to our show, then you're not stupid.
Yeah. I mean, they just make she made an impulsive decision, you know.
Yeah, you have to. We can understand the impulsivity.
Yeah, she made it. It was.
We were stupid then too.
Yes, we were super into. I would agree.
Yes. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, so yeah, I thought Terry was gonna be alive because we had a season 2. Now I'm like, oh, maybe Terry's not alive. Maybe like this could be like, I'm not sure what show I'm watching and how evil we're gonna see Sinatra be, but she's pretty evil, and like the technology's already there. Misha, you're talking about Presley has a crush on the tall Chalamet lookalike.
Chalamet lookalike. I like that. Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, he is sort of Chalamet, isn't he?
Yeah, he kind of is.
Yeah. So I'm talking. So look, I don't know if she's. I guess I'm not 100% sure Terry's alive like I was a week ago. Now, like it could be 50-50, but I do think that Xavier has should be at least 28% doubtful that this is real. Because the technology exists now for someone to listen to this show and use our voices to make fake recordings, right?
Yeah.
That's already out there. So I'm interested in what that means for the next episode or the next season. That is this show turning into Detective Xavier trying to find the mystery murderer. What do you guys think? Do you think it's really like it's intriguing to think that there's a imposter among them and somebody got in and infiltrated.
Yeah.
It also seems incredibly almost impossible that you could get in there. I assume the door is a pretty good door that's locked that you can't get in, right?
I feel though that I think we find out the killer in the finale. Based on the fact that I feel like the finale is going to be, we're going to get resolved who the killer was, and it's going to be an open-ended type thing where, because they didn't know they were getting a second season when this was filmed.
Right.
You know, that was recently announced. So I feel like it's going to be ended in a way that completes this chapter, but leaves it open for a second season, which we know we now got.
Yeah.
Golden Child says, I'm surprised Sterling didn't have his kids hidden somewhere before he knew about to start a whole bunch of drama. He tried to. I mean, I think he thought they were sufficiently safe. I just don't think he did a very good job of it.
Well, he sent them to go hide with the next door neighbor, and
in the
basement of the bar.
In the basement of the bar, yeah.
In the basement of the bar, and they were fine until what's her face decided to go out on her own.
She decided to sneak out. Yeah.
Yeah. He should have impressed upon her, I guess, more that she needed to stay there because it was life or death, which I think she's old enough and smart enough. She should have known better, but
stupid.
You're right with what you said before. She is a teenager. They make dumb decisions. So
yeah,
I can kind of buy it, but
they make bad decisions. She didn't. Yeah.
Her worst decision was going with Jane.
I mean, that
was to be fair, there's absolutely no reason not to suspect Jane. Jane has been around for the whole 3 years. They've been close, you know. So there's no reason to suspect her.
I agree with that, but as a viewer, it's frustrating that she went off with her.
Yeah. Yeah. So like my theory, since the first week so Misha thinks, they're going to wrap up all of the season's questions and maybe start a few new ones for next season. So,
that's basically the thing.
So thinking the killer will be revealed.
Yeah.
I think that would be great. It will just really annoy me if they're like, oh my God, look at this mystery man that we never noticed for the last 2.5 years or for the last 2 weeks, or how did this guy get in here? And if you were a person why would you break it? So I don't get why a person would break in and sneak in and kill Cal.
Okay,
I can think of a lot of reasons
why people would why they would kill Cal.
Let her finish, Jamie.
I can think of a lot of reasons why people would want to get inside Paradise if they knew it existed, because it's safe, it has food, it has this, it is that. But like, I mean, why would someone like just want to get in there and kill Cal unless maybe it's her? Maybe she snuck in to kill Cal because he wouldn't take her kid.
There you go. I like that.
I'd like it to be I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know who it could be.
I think.
So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie. Now that
no, I was just going to agree. I was going to say I can see why people would want to sneak in, but not why they would want to kill Cal.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, I think whatever, even if it is somebody that we've never seen before, I feel like it's not going to be as simple as this person snuck in and was like, "Hey, I'm going after the guy who I'm blaming for this." It's gonna have a plausible. It might be like I say, it might be a broader spectrum to it than we're aware. I mean, there's definitely something about the lotus flower. Assuming it's a lotus.
The outfit she saw. Let's wait.
Yeah, there's gonna be
which goes back to
before. We didn't answer it when he asked before. I think I forget. Did they show what happened yet?
What do you mean? Show what happened?
Why the iPad was left? I was trying to remember.
No, we don't know. We don't know yet.
Don't know
yet. I have a theory that Cal threw it out the window, hoping that Xavier would find it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hoping that
because it was right below his window. So that's why I think he threw it out the window.
When someone came in and he knew he was going to maybe be killed, he threw it out the window in the hope that Xavier would find it and use it to solve his murder or save Paradise or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. It did, to Golden Child's comment, it was sitting oh so nicely on top of a bush, right? It was
it was.
I mean, it looked almost like someone just put it there or whipped it out the window. I mean, I do like that theory that maybe, she just conveniently found it there. I mean, maybe Lotus person, I mean, maybe this person knew Presley was there and left it there hoping Presley would bring it to her father. Like, is that more, does that make any more sense than someone throwing it out the window and it lands in the book? Like, was someone trying to get it into her hands knowing she hangs out at the White House and that she was there that night? The whole lotus flower jacket thing confuses me, like puts a whole different twist on it, right? Because like, who the hell was that? And I guess that's maybe gonna have to be a season 2 mystery. Like maybe there's some sort of like underground rebellion sort of resistance group down there.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'll probably know within the next 12 hours.
Are you gonna watch it tonight?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Because I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna watch it tomorrow. Yeah, so it has to be the reason he's killed has to be super personal because Cal is kind of a nondescript president. He is, and it's pretty clear he's kind of a puppet. He is. So like, why would you? And if you didn't kill him for the iPad, then why would you kill him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's been my thing all along. Is and I even said at one point when we were discussing it all, it could have been accidental. It could have been like a heated argument, and I mean, we're gonna get the flashback. We're gonna see how it goes down.
Do you think this father could have like taken leave of his senses and accidentally and killed him, not knowing who he was or what he was doing?
No, because his father saw Presley, and Presley never made it inside. I mean, I guess it could have been after the fact, and his father could have been leaving, but I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so.
Maybe it's someone from that old NCAA team he beat at the buzzer. Been holding a grudge for a long time.
I even said at one point, I mean, I wouldn't put it past the first lady. She seems to I don't know why her and Cal didn't get along. She seems very nice. So I think she's too nice. So that's fake.
Okay. Probably not Jeremy, right? He's appropriately guilt-stricken.
No, it's definitely not Jeremy, because he's very distraught that his last words to his father was that he hated him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty torn up. It's not him. I mean, it's not Billy because he's dead. So
not Jane.
No, it could be, but that would be bad writing, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, bad writing anyway.
Wait, if it was who?
If it was Billy, I mean, Billy technically could have killed him, but I just mean that would be boring for us now. He's already dead. So good
You're right.
Yeah,
Billy
it
could have
wasn't
done
Billy.
it, but he's dead, so he can't.
And it wasn't Billy because Xavier asked him point blank, and there's no reason, to kill him if he was. Yeah. He didn't do it. I don't think it was Jane either, because that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I mean, the first lady is maybe the primary.
I'm probably way off on that, but I don't know. There was something earlier in the season that made me suspect her for a minute, but I don't really think that.
She's the one person who had. I mean, she seems to have motive. Like the spouse is always the first person they look at, right?
Listen, she voted for the other guy.
She voted for the other guy. Misha was working up a theory that somehow Cal killed himself based on how mean everyone was that last night, but I don't think so anymore. Yeah,
did he get hit in the back of the head though, or might
he got hit? It was blunt force trauma,
right?
Which, maybe he could have been dancing around, headbanging to 80s music, and headbanged himself into the mantle.
Yeah.
That's possible.
I mean, it could have been
but it was kind of towards the back of his head, so, and he was face down.
He would have had to have tripped and fallen or something.
He was face down. The damage to his head was towards the back.
Poison, yeah.
So it implies that he was hit from behind and fell forward. Kind of hard to do that to yourself.
But Misha, I do think Misha's right that they went out of their way to make him seem very depressed and in a terrible state, and that but for the manner of death, it seemed like a possibility at some point in this show. But yeah, I don't think so anymore. I think most of us don't think so anymore. I don't know who it is, but I really hope it's not a new person. I really hope it's not someone from outside, unless they're going to launch a whole different. So I've been working, you guys know, I keep saying it over and over again, that those planes and all that business about Xavier wanting to be a pilot, I fully expected to see a plane fly out of there by the end of the season. And now I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it was an EMP.
So all those planes like the plane, Air Force One is inside the mountain, right? There's multiple planes inside the mountain.
Yeah. I think it's still plausible though, because an EMP isn't.
They wouldn't have been affected.
I was joking because once the EMP has been set off, it doesn't linger.
Right.
Yeah.
It just knocks everything out. So you could go outside with electronics now. They have gone outside with electronics. They've got recordings from outside.
Yeah.
So the planes could the planes could still be a factor for. Who knows? Now that he knows Terry's alive, we might see Xavier taking a plane out at the end of the season
to go look for her. Yeah. I just felt like so much was made of that surely we were going to see him, but it could be a red herring. Yeah. So, that means I have pretty much no predictions for the last episode. I don't know what to say or expect, which is kind of great to go into it like that.
Yeah.
Not knowing what you're going to get.
All right.
It says it'd be such a disappointment if they made it some random schmo from outside the bunker.
Yes.
Someone got in when Billy went out or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
They can do that, but I think it isn't just some schmo. It could be a person we haven't seen, but like I said, I feel like if they go that route, it's gonna be more to it. It's not just gonna be some guy that stumbled in. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be more of a it's not going to be one person. One person might have killed him, but it's not going to be a one-person job. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So,
I feel like it'd be a group of people.
I don't really think this, but could Billy have somehow faked the video of killing the scientist and the survivor and brought him in, and the survivor is in and killed the president? And it's Terry, right?
I like that idea.
But it would still be a random schmo from the outside, the bunker, right?
But now,
not quite as random, a less random schmo.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, everything was like we saw what happened with everything, but it was there video from Billy or was it audio? I don't remember.
I think it was audio, wasn't it?
I'm trying to remember when Cal was looking at the tablet. I'm trying to remember if there was video.
I feel like it was audio, but we heard her talking too, Sinatra talking.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Sinatra would like want some kind of proof. I don't know. Like Sinatra's the kind of person that would be like, make sure you cut off a finger and bring it back so I know. But yeah, it's gotta be it can't be someone from it can't be just some person that's been in there hiding that got in. And it makes no sense that they would come in and like kill Cal, right? Like why would they come in and kill Cal?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if it's not somebody that we've seen, it's going to be like a group. It's going to be like a faction that's been and it's not something that just happened in one day. It's like there's going to be more to it.
Like the Lotus people could be like a resistance group or something, right?
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be simple, cut and dry.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah. All right.
I think you guys can move on to Reacher.
Okay.
Yeah. Seems like a plan.
Okay, let's move ourselves to God, Jamie, I gotta clean up these photographs. They're getting
Yeah, I know. Hey, I just added them. You didn't tell me to delete any, so I just kept adding them.
I know. And this is now you're starting to see why I try to rename them.
We've been over our hour. If you're still here, thank you. We appreciate it. Please make sure you like and subscribe. And also, I found out something I did not even know. Please comment on the videos too after the fact, because commenting actually helps our videos more than the live chat does, which I did not know and makes no sense to me, but apparently it's true. So try to comment on some and it'll help. But yeah, we'll move on to Reacher and we'll do Paradise finale next week. Only one more left, guys.
Okay. So this was episode 4 of Reacher. This is almost entirely a flashback about Dominique, about Reacher and his early in his career, right? He doesn't really have much of a team yet. I think Dominique was like the first person on his team, and how she gets killed.
Yeah.
Jamie, I thought this episode didn't really advance the main storyline very much, but yet I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this was a waste of episode. It's not, and thanks guys if you stuck around. Some of them are leaving, but thank you for coming. We're doing 9 bodies in a Mexican morgue after, so you can always check back in. I kind of felt like this episode was a little bit of a waste. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it, but we already knew some of the things. Like, it was nice to see about her, I guess, and about her backstory. But like, we already knew that he thought he killed him and like what had happened to him. I feel like at least the part with Quinn and that, like, I really didn't need to see because I already knew it. It was just like a rehash of the same stuff to me. I felt like it was more time taken up than it needed to be. I don't know.
Like too much rehashing of like why Salvador Quinn. I keep calling him Salvador Quinn, who's from Silo. Why Xavier Quinn?
Yeah.
Because everybody on every show has the same name. Why Xavier Quinn is such a bad dude, and
we even knew how Reacher killed him or thought he killed him. I kind of feel like if you were going to have a whole episode devoted to this flashback, why not have kept some of that information back so it was new information now? Like, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed seeing her backstory and seeing his interactions with her, but at the same time, I feel like we've learned pretty much nothing new. I mean, we knew that this person that he cared, well, not just like, you know what I mean, cared about, like worked with, cared about, that was a good person. that he worked with. We knew that she was murdered. We knew that he blamed himself for it. We also knew that he killed Quinn by shooting him in the head, but he didn't die. And we knew they found him in the water off a cliff, and we knew why he didn't die. Like, that whole thing was already established. So if you were going to devote a whole episode to it, I would have at least liked if they didn't explain all that already. Like, you could have just skipped this episode.
Yeah, and fair enough. I did think, there was not a lot of time that they were able to devote to this storyline, right? And I did feel that I'm like, wow, this case against Quinn comes together so easily. Like, they're just like, boom, 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 everything falls into place, get the evidence, find the witness. It all moves really quickly and really easily, which is not ever how any of Reacher's cases ever go. It was, and then it all goes wrong at the last minute or whatever. And I'm not sure.
I feel like you could have skipped this episode and it wouldn't have mattered. That's kind of how I felt about this.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it established. I don't know. I also didn't love the way it suddenly. Look, I enjoyed it because I enjoy.
Yeah, it was a good episode. It just wasn't necessary. I think that if you're only going to get X amount of episodes, I would have rathered something else.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the character of Reacher. I enjoyed his rapport with Dominique. I liked it. It did seem. I also didn't love the case goes perfectly, and then it turns out that Quinn is a total psycho, and they didn't know until they got his juvie records, and really, nobody, I don't know. It
suspected this guy would do, yeah,
pretty quickly, and was resolved pretty quickly. I wonder if we would have responded better to this if the flashback was spread out over the last 4 episodes and we were getting little bits of the flashback throughout, right?
Yes, so that would have been a lot better.
You wouldn't feel I don't know that I feel as strongly as you do that it was a wasted episode, but we would have gotten all this information in a different way.
I don't know. I'm not sure how else to feel about like I said, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. It's not that it wasn't nice to see this, this woman, what he did for her and tried to help her, and that he's a good person to work for, and he takes care of his people, and he's willing, he'll kill people if they screw him over, type of thing. But it's just,
we knew all that.
I learned nothing new at all.
We knew all that about Reacher already.
Yeah, and we already knew she was dead, so it was you already knew the outcome. I mean, granted, you could have, I guess, thought, oh, maybe the guy died or something. But I mean, it was pretty apparent from everything that was said beforehand that it was good. I mean, it's going to be her or maybe both of them.
Yeah, I guess if you just, I mean, you're saying it might be enough for Reacher to say trust me, this guy is psycho. He tortured my old partner to death.
Yeah, they could have done that in a 5-minute flashback. Or like I said, maybe not explained what happened to her before. He kept saying that this happened to this woman that worked for him or whatever. If he had maybe not answered Duffy before and refused to tell her until this point, I would have enjoyed it more. Or if he didn't understand how the guy got away. But like I said, we even knew how he thought he killed him. We even know why the guy didn't die. All of that was already established earlier on. I agree with what you said. Maybe if it was doled out in pieces, it wouldn't have irritated me so much. I don't know. I just kind of felt going in why am I watching this? Because I already know she's going to die. So what am I gaining? I don't know. I just feel in shows anymore, we don't get tons of episodes. And yeah, I just, like I said, I just feel it wasn't necessary really at all.
And then in the meantime, this business didn't really get that much farther. So we saw
until the last few minutes. The last few minutes were good, and I'm like, what the hell are they going to do now? But that was the last 5 minutes of the episode.
Oh yeah, where the laptop is being tracked, and these two are in great danger, and Reacher's rushing to try to save them, right? To get there in time. I mean, that's really all that happened. on the overarching mystery, and we saw Reacher spend some time with Richard, and it was kind of heartwarming. He's gonna like teach
I
the
like
kid
the
to
stuff with
defend
them.
himself,
It was more the flashback, I guess, that I didn't like.
which was 75% of the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it certainly leaves you with an episode that doesn't really need much breakdown or
discussion,
right?
More review than breakdown, I think.
Yeah, there's not a ton to discuss here.
I mean, the thing is they really didn't even, like, out of all of it, they also didn't even go into what Quinn did, which I'm not saying that I want to know how he tortured her. I'm not saying I need to know that, but like, they didn't even tell us that. Like, all we found out was, oh, she went by herself and she's dead and he tortured her.
She didn't go by herself.
Well, no, she went with that guy. She went with the other. Yeah. But my point is that whole thing could have been told in 5 minutes. I really feel like I would have rather even seen just more with them. More. I mean, they could have even done like a flashback, like more of a flashback even on him meeting her, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, this is based on source material, and the story is what the story is.
And books have a lot more, a lot of times going on. What I thought was interesting out of the whole episode, out of the flashback part of the episode, what I thought was interesting was the fact that his boss told him to kill him. And he's like, you just do it once and you do it right. I liked that part. And I liked the part where his boss was also like, you can't let it affect you. Like, you've got to figure it out, follow the clues. And you see that like Reacher's clearly affected, but he's not affected so much. He can't like put it to the back of his mind and keep going. And that's what makes him good at what he does. And like, I appreciated that part, but that wasn't, I think, what you were supposed to get out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, I just don't think it was really necessary. I think if they had spread it out, it would have done better. I agree with that, with what you said. I think that might have fixed the problem if there had been less in each, and like in a couple different episodes, because then I wouldn't have felt like, oh, that whole episode was senseless.
Oh, so this is a real miss for you this week.
Yeah. And I mean, I love this show. Like I said, it wasn't that it wasn't enjoyable. It just was a waste of an episode. I mean, I liked the girl enough. It was good in the part and it was a good character, but like I said, maybe if I didn't know that she was tortured and murdered ahead of time, I would have felt a little different. I don't know.
Yeah. I suppose there's a possibility that some of this will be important soon.
Maybe. I did like that it showed how he like didn't take credit for things and he wanted her to get the recognition she deserved. Like, he didn't take her to the bar. He was going to let her arrest her, which of course is what caused the problem. But like, I liked that, but yeah, there wasn't enough of those kind of things, I guess, for me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They probably should have gone with, more backup, but they really thought that this guy was just a broker. They didn't have any reason to believe he was violent, I guess, right?
Yeah, or at least not to the point he was. Yeah, I mean, there was there were some things that weren't flashback that were in it again, but it wasn't like a whole lot of most of it was the flashback. I do think I do like his interactions, and this is the part that isn't the flashback, with the cook and the cleaning woman.
Oh yeah, we don't have a picture of them.
No,
I don't. So I'll just put this picture because we have a picture of them.
I enjoyed that part. I like kind of the way that just their interactions, and like that they don't put up with him, but at the same time, like, he's nice to them, and you could see like the reaction when he knew the woman's name. Like, none of these people have ever known her name. I kind of think either they're going to give him information that's going to help, or one of them is going to come to him to help. Like, I almost expected when that woman gave him the clothing bag that there was going to be like a note in there, like, this is going on, can you help me, or something, like, because they figured out he was a good guy. I don't know. I just expected
That's funny.
something.
I kind of feel the opposite. I feel like one of them is gonna like end up turning him into
Interesting.
Beck. And of course my suspicion is more of the stricter the older lady who's a little stricter, and she seems to be, she's been with him.
If it's one of them that does that, it will be her, I'm sure.
Well, she's been with him 20 or 30 years. She's very loyal to Beck, right? And it's established that the young one is really not loyal to Beck. She's just trying to make money to get her PhD.
Even the older one, though, says something like he was a different person. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just think he seemed really surprised that Reacher even knew what her name was. Like, this guy's obviously different, you know? I mean, I know a lot of it was just for, like, to be funny, and it was, like, more of a comedic. But, yeah, I liked those scenes. As much as they weren't necessarily super important, I did like them.
Yeah.
And the thing and also with Reacher and the kid, like when he slapped him in the face, that was funny. I like that.
Yeah, we're
he's trying really hard to teach the poor kid.
Well, and we saw like Beck look out the window and see Reacher interacting with Richard, and
yeah, maybe appreciating it.
Maybe, you know, seeing that they're bonding, you know, it certainly might build trust to think like,
the only part that I really did not get and don't know that I loved is the part where he was telling that kid, like, don't you think your father in a way helped you by, you know, letting them cut your ear off and not coming to save you, and type of, that part was kind of like, I don't know what he was trying to achieve there, unless it was just to make the kid trust him. I didn't quite understand the point to that scene. Did you?
Well, I think he was trying to like explain a reason why your father wouldn't automatically pay that ransom, because that he could have legitimately thought, it's not that your father doesn't care about you, he could have legitimately thought he was doing the right thing by not paying the ransom.
I guess, but I feel like there's no way either of them believe that. So I don't, like I said, unless it was maybe to build trust, I don't know. That just didn't play right for me for whatever reason.
Okay.
But I did like him bonding with him, though. I did like that. I kind of have a feeling that eventually he's going to maybe help him and his father, because it sounds like his father wasn't originally a bad guy. And so maybe he could be partially redeemed. I don't know. Maybe his father will be redeemed to protecting his son. Like maybe he'll die trying to save him this time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He might. I mean, he could die. I could see any of that.
I think he'll be in most of the season though, just because he's Anthony Michael Hall. But he's been in a while. It's not like he was only in, like, it's the beginning of the show. But I still feel like he's probably going to be there at least for a while because he's, you know, the big guest star. I don't think if they're going to kill him, I don't think they're going to kill him off this early, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, there's 6 more episodes. There are 10, right? So there's 6 to go.
I believe so.
I do think that like a Reacher series is never, it always gets more complicated and twisty, right?
Yeah.
As we go along. So
how did you like the reveal that Duffy threatened her CI and that she feels now like that's why she feels so responsible?
I thought it was kind of a nothing burger. Like, does it really matter? Like, I thought that's a thing that cops do all the time on every cop show. They lie to people about stuff like that. I didn't think it was the most egregious offense. I mean, Reacher's like summarily executed tons of criminals without bringing them into justice or whatever, right? Like his sense of honor is a whole other level of her being like, I feel guilty that I lied to her and now she's kidnapped. Like, and like, does it matter? Like, I believe Duffy before when she said what she said that she offered to pay her, right? And that's why she did it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed to be some sort. We see this thing, this huge thing where Reacher shoots a guy in the head and pushes him off a cliff instead of bringing him in to seek justice, and then to be like, "Oh, I lied to you. I threatened her. I lied to her and threatened her." It's just such a small sin compared to
It is, but I think it's more showing that she feels guilty about it. But you're right. Was it necessary? I don't know. I'm more like the idea that that guy's like her boss or whatever he is like, Reacher's okay with killing all these people, and you seem okay with killing these people. You know, you might go to jail for this or whatever. And are you okay with that? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, he is
partner, Villanueva.
Yeah, him. I thought he was her boss.
It's Villanueva, right? Yeah. No, they're
partners. But he's like, she says, yeah, she's willing to go to jail or whatever for that. And then he says that he is too, but it's to protect her, because she's his partner or whatever. I'm not sure. I thought she was supposed to have been his subordinate for a while or something. But I got the idea she learned from him. I don't know why I thought that. But
that's the moment I know that he's going to die.
Probably, yeah.
She's going to get him killed. And the fact that he says he's willing to basically do anything for her, I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to die and she's going to feel bad about that too. For sure.
Yeah, probably. That's a good point.
Yeah. I just felt like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, you did, dude.
And the other thing is they haven't really brought up much that they only very little touched on is that other guy's going to escape. The one that works for
the witness that they have tied to a chair for the last week. Yeah.
That other guy is not he's trying. God bless him, he's trying, but he's not doing such a great job, and that guy's going to totally escape, and it's going to be his fault probably.
Yeah, I mean that young agent, I forget his name. He might die also. He could be killed, and then she would feel bad. There's no way all three of them make it out, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't really love Duffy overall. I think it's the accent maybe is what's driving me insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't dislike her really, but I mean,
I don't really like her. I mean,
take it or leave it. Yeah, I don't know that I think she's a fantastic character, but I don't dislike her. Yeah, I don't know. I think that probably she's, I don't know, unnecessary story, I guess. Added because the whole thing with the you do need that story though of the CI, or he wouldn't be still there. I mean, that's kind of what's keeping him there, is trying to save this person, but I don't know.
What, Reacher? No, he's there to get Quinn.
He's also there for Quinn. That's true. He is there for Quinn.
He's there to get Quinn. I mean, it was very well set up in the first episode. Duffy says, you want to get Quinn. I want to save my CI. Right now, our interests are aligned, so let's work together.
No, you're right. But I think in the end, he's going to stay around to save the girl, though. I mean, I think that's... Unless the girl's already dead. I mean, we could find out she's already dead. I don't know.
She could be dead. She's just a stop along. If he happened to save her on the way, if he runs across her on his way to Quinn, he's going to save her, but that's not his goal. It's the price of doing business with Duffy.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, sure, Reacher likes to save people just as much as he likes to kill people. But I think he's not there for what's her? I forget her name. The girl.
I don't remember.
CI. I forget her name. I want to say Angel. Angel?
No, Angel's the guy he killed.
Angel Doll is the guy he killed. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the plot point. I don't remember because she's not that important. And I guess that after all I said, I'm thinking you're right. She's not really that important if I can't even remember her name.
I mean, she's a MacGuffin. She's a MacGuffin, basically, right?
Yes, she is. I think he'll end up caring more saving her because of it'll make him think of that other woman and what happened. It's kind of like a parallel with that. But yeah, in the scheme of things, I guess you're right. I liked Hey Just Me. I liked the end of the episode though. I think that was like for me the big. It was like that was interesting. I want to know what happens because okay, so he's finally this guy's number 2. And then he finds out, oh shit, they've been tracking the laptop. And you think, why did you guys not think of this? Why did you not like dismantle it or do something to make sure nobody's tracking it? Like that seems like something that they should have done really fast and was a rookie move. But now they got to figure, no, just me. We're going to probably be in 9 bodies in a couple minutes. We're almost done with this.
Yeah, we're almost done.
I feel like they should have realized that it could be tracked. But now, like, what are they going to do? If he kills these other 3 guys, I mean, he can't get away with killing 3 more of his people and not realize something's up. The guy can't be that stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a situation where Duffy and Villanueva hide and, like, Reacher gets there in time to distract them long enough for them to sneak out and get away.
Maybe. I mean, I would say even he could tell him to like somehow turn it off or something, but then he would know that he told somebody because they didn't know it, and then suddenly the signal goes away or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just want to know how they're going to work it out because it just seems like, oh shit.
Well, I'm sure you're going to find out.
Yeah.
Shortly. So, well, I think we rehashed it pretty good. There's not a ton. This episode is not really very full of story.
Right.
This week. Right. So, all right. We can move along to our new show, 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue.
Yes.
I got to tell you, if I didn't know Eric McCormick is in that show, I would not know from this artwork that that's him. I would never in a million years see that. That doesn't look anything like Eric McCormick to me.
I mean, I don't know. I guess other than you're used to seeing him, well, no, because I don't know that seeing him be funny really is an explanation.
I
see him glasses. He's made to look a little different.
I see him every day on my television about 50 times with his ASPCA commercials.
That's true. Yeah.
He's on TV, my TV nonstop. So I watched the first episode of the show. It's okay. I don't really, because it's only 1 episode, I don't like any of these people enough yet to care if they die, except I really hate Eric McCormick's character. He's a big jerk, right? Although I have a feeling we're going to find out more about why he's retired. I figure he probably lost his license. Maybe he lost a patient and quit, and that's why he didn't want to operate. He's probably got some kind of past trauma or something, and maybe is not.
Yeah, that was definitely what I thought. Trying to remember exactly what I thought because I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, I mean, there's a reason he doesn't want to work on it. I kind of wondered if he thought that he'd be sued or something if he messed it up. I remember thinking that it seems like that kind of thing. I'm not going to be liable for because he does seem like such a jerk, I
mean, I think that, I don't know that none of the doctors I know would probably do that, would allow a person to die because I don't know that many doctors, but I have a few doctor friends that would not allow a person to die because they're afraid of, I mean, here in the United States, most states have a Good Samaritan law, right?
Yes.
And I don't know, what that somebody going to really sue him for, I get it, Jamie.
No, but I mean, I feel like that was what he was worried about. He didn't want to be liable for it. I don't know. That's for whatever reason, what I took it as. I do remember thinking that and just thinking that he didn't want to be responsible for it and that he cared more about his image than about the person not dying,
Yeah, I didn't really so I'm just me. I was thinking, oh, I bet he killed someone by accident during surgery.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Or maybe he got in trouble for doing that, and so he doesn't have a license or something like that.
Or that's kind of in trouble, but that he was so traumatized he quit and could never.
Or that's true. Yeah.
We also know what kind of doctor. we also know what kind of doctor he is. He could be like a dermatologist, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I remember thinking that too. Like, why does just because he's a doctor necessarily know that he knows how to do surgery? Although the other thing I was also thinking during this is how many shows have you seen where it's like just cut a hole in his chest and put a tube and a pen in it and he'll be good. That's the other thing I kept thinking. Like drain the liquid or the fluid out of his chest, because they've done that in like 20,000 different films, which I thought was funny. But yeah, the point is like you said, which is what I guess I was thinking, is that a normal doctor, whether they knew what to do or not, they would have at least tried to do something. The fact that he was refusing to do something was what was meant something,
He was saying things like, look, we have no disinfectant, we have no equipment, we have nothing. If I do it, I'll kill him. And like, nobody was saying loud enough the part where like, well, he's going to die anyway, so just try. Like, it really took a long time for the other passengers until finally it was Amy, I think, who started in with like, this is not right. We have to do something. And then the others finally, went along with it, and kind of overwhelmingly like guilted Kevin into doing it.
I will say, at least after this episode, and I'm not saying whether, my opinion changes or not, but at this episode, I did though think at the end of this, like, it doesn't make sense to me that he could be a killer, because why would he just not like continue to refuse to save the guy? Like, he has an out, you know what I mean? Like, he's telling him this guy may die, so he has no reason to murder him because he could have just not done it right, if that makes sense. Like, so he was, to me, after this episode, like my least suspicious, I guess.
Oh, you mean, so you're jumping to the end of the episode where
No, I'm just saying, we know. I mean, if you have seen a preview and also just the name of it, you kind of assume that one of them is probably, I mean, it could not be, I don't know. But there's a big assumption that one of the people are probably a murderer. At least that's what you're led to believe might be the case. And I'm just saying, like, out of everybody, because of that, I did not
feel that at all. By the end of this episode, I did not feel like, so I know if like the setup is like 10 little Indians and someone among us is a killer, but I actually felt in watching this episode that the killer was perhaps someone who's already there in the forest.
Yeah, definitely could be. I'm just saying he's my least suspicious. I'm not saying necessarily even think it couldn't be somebody from outside. I'm just saying, like, if out of all of them, I feel like he's off my radar for right now.
Because you think, why would he operate on someone and then kill him?
Yeah, like, why wouldn't he just not do a good job operating on him because he had an out? Like, what would be the point? I don't think he did it.
But you don't know. We don't know.
Well, like, true.
I can watch surgery and not know if you did a good job.
True. But he could have also continued to refuse too and let him die. Like, I just feel like, what would be the point of him going through that when it was such a thing he didn't want to do, just to turn around and then kill him? Like, it just, to me, didn't make any sense.
Because if you're there to kill them for whatever reason and they all start to hate you within 5 minutes of your arrival, you maybe can't be effective at whatever. Like, if there's something subversive going on here and one of them is like an agent of, like, because they all got on him. Like, he really like gave in, right? I mean, I'm just being devil's advocate. I'm not saying that I think
no. Yeah. And then that's what I'm saying. I'm not even saying I necessarily, because I do think that it's very possible it's somebody on the outside. I'm just saying, like, I try to, because I love the mystery aspect. I go through and I'm like, okay, how could this person be it? And I'm just saying, to me, he seemed the least likely out of all of them at this point because of that. Because to me, that doesn't make sense that he would have done that.
And yet he argued hard to not treat this guy and just let him die.
Yeah. And I guess my point is, like, I would think he would have done that if he was so trying to kill him. Like, he could have just continued to refuse. He could have made a different excuse of why he couldn't do it. I mean, why admit that you can do it? Why not say, I've never done a surgery, I don't know what to do? Like, the fact that he tried,
did say
I don't know.
He did say
he never did a surgery, but he tried. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I thought after I watched it.
All right. I mean, there's a lot of people. This whole episode was about introducing us to the characters, right?
Yes.
I mean, and we met. So Just Me thought he was a chiropractor.
Yeah. I'm not sure that would have been helpful.
I mean, most doctors, like, I have a friend who is a doctor, and just a couple months ago was in traffic that was backed up. They saw a car crash happen while they were driving on the highway, and all the cars stopped, and he's a doctor. He jumped out of the car and he ran over to help. Well,
Yeah,
he's a
good doctor.
wait. He's a cancer researcher, and he ran over to help and check it out. But like he had like one rotation in emergency medicine when he was like a student, right? And has not really worked in emergency medicine since. So was like, yeah, I could not really, as soon as those EMTs rolled up, I was out of there. Like they're way more trained than he is, right?
Well, I mean, anybody who's a medical doctor has had some form of training, like emergency training. So I guess that's the idea. But does that person have enough training that they could do surgery? Maybe not.
No, or like I took CPR training, but it was a long time ago, and you do not want me doing CPR on you right now, right?
Exactly.
Because so I get it why a lot of doctors would be reluctant but he didn't say any, like either he's a shady character or it wasn't well written, because I kept waiting for him to say, like, I don't work in emergency medicine. I haven't done any emergency medicine in 20 years. I was a brain surgeon. I was a dermatologist. I was an orthopedic, right? Like 90% of the kinds of doctors would not be prepared to perform surgery on a collapsed lung, right? So he just wasn't making the excuses. He's kind of shady and jerk. He might just be a total jerk, right? Maybe he's just a jerk.
He might just be a jerk. Right.
He might just be a jerk. There are people who are like total jerks, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like even if there was like a vet there, though, they would have tried if they knew some form of medical.
A vet would be better equipped, maybe, because vets they
do emergency surgery and stuff sometimes. Yeah.
Vets treat every part of the like it's very rare that you take your dog to the eye doctor and to the ear doctor and to the heart. The vet does everything, right? Most of them. I feel like a vet might be more equipped.
Yeah, you're right. Could be.
But anyway, I mean, I think like just me, we're assuming that each episode will be someone else dying. And we
know there's 9 bodies, so we're going to assume that at least 9 of them are going to die, would be my assumption. Which is why I think the title's so interesting.
Or 10. It doesn't mean the 10.
Or 10. But I mean, we can't hold out hope that 90% of them are going to make it out, is what I'm saying. It's not.
They're already dead. Everyone's already dead when the show starts. This is flashback, right? But what I was getting at is we're assuming that one person can die every week, and the point of this episode was introduce us to everybody, not just Kevin, right? And I was just going to say, you got pictures of them all. So we met.
Yeah,
we met Sonia.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
Who is from London, I think she said, right?
That part I don't remember.
Yeah, I think she said she's from London. She was a little
nobody trusts each other and they're all secretive. That's
she's played by Lydia Wilson. She was evasive when they asked what she does and stuff, and she didn't want to really say why were you in Guatemala? Oh, traveling, which actually is a perfectly okay answer. She just was so weird when she said it, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I think we're in northern Mexico. I think we're in the such and such state national forest or whatever. And I was like, oh, so she knows a lot about, right?
Yeah, she knows something.
Geography.
Yeah.
I got the feeling that maybe she was some kind of scientist. I don't know why I thought she was some kind of scientist or something. So we met her. We met Zach. David Ajala plays Zach, the insurance salesman guy, who is the natural leader, sort of take chargey kind of guy.
Yes.
Which he's a little more willing to trust everybody too, I feel like.
What? Yeah. I don't know if he trusts anybody, but he's
more willing to work with everybody, I guess, to try to be helpful.
He wants there's if we don't live together, we're gonna die alone.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. and he, I mean, I consider, it's funny because I
He's the
consider
dad,
him the
right?
star, even though really Eric McCormick is the star, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think they're both men.
We met, is his name Carlos?
Yes.
He is a Mexican. So I think he's a little small to be a Mexican wrestler, but I don't watch a lot of wrestling, and I just feel like in America he's a little giant. But he's a luchador, who is he's very concerned about his suitcase. I think the suitcase is going to end up being filled with Mexican wrestling costumes that cost him a lot of money and that he doesn't want to lose. I don't think, or do you think it's like a suitcase full of like cocaine, or he's like Nikki and Paolo and he's got stolen diamonds in there or something?
I kind of thought in this episode, I thought that it was probably something less innocuous, but I don't know that I necessarily had an idea what it was. But I would say I thought, like, I didn't think it was going to be something horribly bad. Like, it seemed like it was more something he cared about than about, like, like you said, like cocaine or drugs or guns or something.
My initial instinct was that, is he smuggling wildlife? Is he like smuggling something? But now I think it's a red herring, and it's going to be like just
that was kind of what I thought. I thought it's not going to be anything.
Yeah. There they all are, sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not everybody's there. Oh, the pilot's not there, and the flight attendant
who died right away. So technically, 2 people died in this episode, but
yeah. We already met them. Here's Amy and her husband, who is named Dan. Amy and Dan. They're kind of. I'm already irritated at him going, I said I'd look after you. I said I'd look after you. I said I'd look after. I'm like, oh my God, you're the most patriarchal. Like, is she totally helpless? Or are you like overprotective? Or like, what is with that? Like, I was like, the third time he said it, I was like,
a little sketchy. Yeah, it's a little sketchy. I would agree with that. And then we have
wait. Did you catch that part where she says, I wish I could talk to my father? Anne says, I wish you could too. And Amy says, he would kill you. And Dan says, oh, I don't think he would. You don't know him. I've read about him and I've seen him on TV. Like, her father is like
somebody important, I guess.
I wonder if he's like a famous criminal. Like, maybe. She said he would kill you. I took it to mean that I took her at her word that she thought her father really would.
I did too, but I more took it like a protective father type thing as opposed to like literally he's in the mafia or something. I
took it like he didn't want them to get married. She ran off and get married.
No, he definitely, I would say, didn't want them to get married, but I guess I didn't take it quite as literal. I just assumed that he's somebody important in power, something, and that he didn't want them getting married.
Yeah, I think he is dangerous. I took her at her word. I think he's a dangerous person, her father.
And Justine is totally right. They do have a very strange relationship. Something else is going on. Everybody in this show has, like, I don't know, odd quirks that make them suspicious in different ways.
I know. And I kind of, like, the way he kept saying, I said I'd look after you, made me feel like
he's too controlling, maybe, or like we're going to find that out. That's what I kind of thought.
I don't know. At some point, I also felt like it's not a legit marriage, that he like said he would look after her. He said he'd take care of her. Like, I felt like, but then later when they were all snugly up in the plane, I got then I started to like feel more legit about their relationship, that they maybe are.
Speaking of the plane, I just want to ask you, Tim, am I the only one that thinks like what people would lay outside on the ground when they have the plane to go into? I would not have gone anywhere but in that plane. But then again, I like terrified of insects and everything else. But I would have never stayed outside the plane.
It's well, I think it's supposed to be like, first of all, like 100 degrees in the jungle, and it's destroyed, and a person was dead in there.
I guess that'd start to stink, wouldn't it?
I mean, they've moved her. They have moved her out, but you still would, like, they all saw her dead in the aisle. It's tiny. It's wrecked. Like, I could see why. And you can't lay down. You have to, like, you're gonna sit in a chair. Like, you ever try to sleep on a plane?
Yeah. Well, you can lay usually across the seats. Like
no, I've flown on many planes where that thing does not go up.
No, I mean, like, well, it depends, I guess, how many are in each side. Like, I've been on ones where like there's 3 and like you could lay across it, like
Jamie, I've been on many planes where the armrests don't go up and you can't lay across
oh, that's
seats.
true. Yeah, I guess you're right. If the armrest didn't go up, I couldn't.
And
And also, this is a little tiny plane too,
and it's
so.
only 2 across. And
I don't know. I'm kind of like, if it's me, I would rather be in that hot, humid plane than outside.
Really? Do you think
But I'm
bugs?
also somebody who would never. I would never go camping outside on the ground either. That's just.
Do you
me.
think bugs can't fly in the smashed windows and the open
Oh,
door?
I'm sure they can, but I would still feel safer not laying on the ground. If you want the truth, I'm just telling you what I would think. I would be like her, be like, I ain't laying out there. I just wouldn't. So yeah, I get it, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily safer in there. I'm just saying I would be the one that would be like,
Just
no way
me's
I'm
with
laying on the
you.
ground.
Just
I would
me's
not
with
slept
you.
outside. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm the person, like, I went camping when I was little, but like we had like a camper we stayed in. I am the person, I would never have. Yeah, no, you could never catch me as somebody who would like laying a sleeping bag on the ground. Maybe when I was little I would have, but after a certain age, nope. Yes, exactly. Spiders. Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel like. Although snakes, I don't care about. I like snakes. I'm weird. I've always
Really?
liked lizards and snakes, and I always laugh because I watch something like Traders or one of them, and I'm like, when they have rats or snakes, I'd be totally fine. It's the bugs that I'd be no way.
Mhm.
Because I know when we'd go to, like, how sometimes at the zoo they like let kids hold. I'd always be like, I want to hold the snake. Yeah, I'm that kid. So, but spiders, mosquitoes. Well, mosquitoes aren't necessarily gross, but I wouldn't want to be bitten. And I also tend to get bitten a lot. Mosquitoes unfortunately like me. There.
Okay, and so we also finally, I think these are the last 2 on the plane. This married couple who are named Lisa and
Travis.
Lisa and Travis, who are kind of,
How much is just in the pilot? Like, I'm not sure how much information they
they're
give out.
kind of likable despite being unlikable in some ways. But
Yeah.
he has a heart condition, so I think he's not long. He only has 6 days of medication.
Yeah, so that's probably not good.
But it's only like it's the nitroglycerin, right? He takes one is like a calcium channel blocker, I think, or a beta blocker or something, and then he's got this
probably a beta blocker. Yeah, and yes, just me, you were 100% right. That is Drummond.
Oh.
I even said to him about Severance. I'm like, I love Severance. I forget exactly what I said. It's in the video, but yeah.
He only has 6 days of his medication, so he hates salad. These 2 are kind of, I mean, they're a little. What were they doing in Guatemala?
I don't know if they've revealed it yet, so I don't want to say.
I think when asked, Lisa just says vacation, but it just doesn't really seem to me. They just don't seem like the kind of people. First of all, they don't seem like the kind of people that would enjoy traveling to Guatemala. Partly because when Carlos is speaking about being a luchador or whatever, and Travis says something like, "Oh, Latino," like he makes a crack about him being a Latino, and
they
I'm like,
seem like they're racist.
Well, yeah. I'm like, you're in Latin America, and like,
that's a good point. Yeah, what do you expect?
In Latin America, right?
They're not. That's just it. You're like what you said. I think is right though. Like out of the group, they're kind of likable, but at the same time, they're not likable because they're racist. They're not nice people necessarily, but yet, I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really seem at all overtly racist until that moment where they made this remark. At best, ignorant.
Yeah,
and really
and worse,
racist, and thinking like that, like this is a very like ugly American. I mean, they seem simple, but they do seem simple. Like they seem simple. They seem like not. They still seem like the kind of people that would go on vacation to Guatemala, right? And yeah. I don't know what they were doing or why they needed to bring a 6-inch long hunting knife on that Travis whips out of his pocket that he just happened to have on him.
Maybe he's the lock. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was surprised they put that MAGA comment in a TV show also, and their open
hostility.
Well, their open MAGA-ness and their open Trumpiness, and I was surprised they put anything so overtly political in a TV show that needs to have broad appeal. And they could have made them, if you have a Trump sticker in your car, you get 10% off.
And
yeah,
that's why I said they're not necessarily the most likable characters. I mean, out of the group, like they seem like they're maybe okay, but they're not.
Yeah,
they're not
I guess there's a segment of viewers who feel that way, but yeah, it's over the top and totally unnecessary. Just me, thank you, and not. They didn't need to say that. They could convey what kind of people these are without having an overtly political kind of comment like that in there. That is actually being played to make them unlikable, and maybe there are certainly people watching the show who did vote for that person and who might be turned off from the show. It's unnecessary to turn off any viewer if you're making a TV show, right?
Right, but I think they're trying to probably make a statement with it.
And doesn't add any value to the show to make that kind of a statement. I think I'm really with just me on this, right? What did it add to the show? I had an opinion about these characters without.
I don't know. I think it's supposed to make them unlikable racists. I mean, that's how I think.
But that's the thing.
But do they need to do that? Maybe not.
But you can't do that. You can't say that just because people support Donald Trump, they're unlikable.
Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean because of what he said about him, not because of them liking Trump.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what the creators were trying to do by putting in this stupid Trump piece of dialogue,
No, I didn't mean specifically about Trump. I meant the fact of what he said about
that he's
Latino. No, I didn't mean just because you like Trump, you're racist. I did not mean that at all.
You meant that he's complaining that he encountered.
Yes, complaining that he's Latino and kind of saying really awful things about him. That's what I mean. Makes him racist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what he said that.
I don't either, but I remember.
Awful, but he did sort of correct. He did sort of complain that he was Latino, and I'm like, dude, you're in Mexico. You flying from Guatemala and you crash in Mexico. I'm really curious about what these people were doing in Guatemala. They just don't seem like the kind of people that would go on vacation to Guatemala.
Yeah.
I just don't know really what any of them were doing in Guatemala. So Ellis was investigating a case in Guatemala for the insurance company he works for, which was kind of interesting to me because your insurance company doesn't employ anybody in Latin America who could go down there and investigate it. So that seemed a little shady to me, right?
Yeah. It seems like they're all either lying or hiding something.
But maybe not. Kevin legitimately had a giant case full of medical samples. He seems to maybe have been, his story makes the most sense about why he was in Guatemala, right?
Yeah.
Sonia really gave no information about why she's there.
The one for me that makes his story makes the least sense is
Carlos?
No, David Hollow. What's his character's name? I already forgot.
Zach, you think his story makes the least sense?
No, I mean, what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying. Like the fact that, why is he there just for insurance? It seems really shady. The other one,
you need insurance investigators,
but it just seems like, I don't know.
I'm just saying if you work for an international company that insures things outside the United States, then they must have an office that, they don't have an office in that country. It just seemed a little, right? But it made more sense than Sonia, who really gives no information.
Didn't want to tell, she didn't want to share it.
It made more sense. So these two allegedly were on a multi-country honeymoon, which was a little surprising. I mean, it makes sense. When they said they got married in Vegas 5 weeks ago, Vegas always to me sounds like a rushed last minute thing, but there are people who travel to Vegas and have giant weddings in giant hotels.
I was going to say, just me said earlier, it seems like maybe they're having an arrangement and not a marriage. That does also sound like a possibility.
Yeah.
And I did find out, it does say why, because I'm looking at a recap of the episode. It does say why Travis and Lisa are there. I thought I wasn't sure if they had said that yet. They run a chain of motels. So
and
why they're there. It says who they are.
Well, they have a big chain of motels in Oklahoma and Kansas, they said, right?
Yes.
Why they were in Guatemala, Lisa just says traveling, like vacation, right?
Yeah.
Like they weren't there to like buy hotels or anything.
Yeah. It says that Zach was visiting to file, or he had to file a report for a fire in the depot in the city.
Yeah, he was doing an insurance investigation.
Yeah, that had to do with arson.
Yeah. Because if it's arson, you like maybe you don't pay, right? Like it's a fire, it's an insurance fire.
Right.
They set the fire to get the insurance. So, I mean, all of them seem to, I mean,
they all seem shady, and they all seem like they're either hiding something or they're lying, one or the other at this point to me.
Yeah, which is like another standard trope with these kinds of like one person dying after the accident. I mean, next is that they're also, you know, most of them are lying about themselves. Guatemala doesn't seem like a popular vacation spot. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people who've been to Guatemala, but you know, I worked in a business.
You've been a lot more places than I have, so
like pretty much. But they do have a lot of like old like indigenous architecture sites and stuff like that, right? Like Tikal is there. In fact, nobody says they were there to visit like the Mayan. There's Mayan ruins there, and no one is like there. Oh, I'm looking up. Yeah, Lake Atitlan is there. There's like a big lake with like volcanoes and stuff there.
Yeah, if they're just there vacationing, they don't mention knowing anything about the area.
No one's like, oh, we came to go to the Mayan ruins. Like,
yeah, that would make more sense than
Or we were scuba diving on the crystal beaches or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the lady in the truck in the desert. Oh, they have an underwater pyramid there. Oh man, I want to go.
That would be cool, right?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
The lady in the truck in the
desert.
Yes,
at the beginning of the episode, we didn't discuss that. That is the other part of the episode that's going on.
She is unnamed so far in the show, and I'm trying to figure out who she is on IMDb, but I don't really know.
Okay, it's Emilio. Okay, let's see. Emilio and Cora de Leon. And they are, I'm trying to remember what they're doing. They're pretending that they're broke down so that they don't look suspicious.
Yes, and they're spying on the army base where the bodies are being brought in.
Yes.
And so that, his name is Emilio. What did you say her name was? Cora. Emilio and Cora. Yeah, their names are Emilio and Cora, right?
Yeah, Cora de Leon. Emilio and Cora de Leon.
Yeah. So, I mean, that lays a whole extra level of shadiness about this crash. And like, are they trying to recover a body? Are they trying to cover something on one of the bodies? Are they trying to recover something in the luggage? Are they part of like whatever Carlos is smuggling? Does someone have a microchip they need? Who knows, right? But it brings a whole level of like what could be going on. And yes, Cora is clearly the brains of the operation because, telling the guy to check the engine, she's because she's the one who's like, no, it's too suspicious to park a car here. Pretend you're checking the engine. And the army guys immediately are like, why is that car there? That's very suspicious.
And we're like,
the car broke down.
Yeah, I know. So it totally worked, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to say the thing is though, is like, I didn't actually, when I watched this, like I didn't actually at the beginning count everybody. And they're like, there's 10 passports. When you talk at the end, you see the ones at the officers that they're like, there's 10 passports. I'm like, I thought there was 9 people, but no, there's 9 people. If you don't count the,
flight attendant.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's what makes their assumption be that if there's 9 bodies and there's 10 passports, one of them had to be the killer. But the thing is, we don't know which body isn't there, and B, that doesn't necessarily mean
that one of them's the killer. I mean, one of them could be still walking around trying to find their way out of the jungle. We don't know.
Yeah, there's these 8 passengers that we're looking at, the flight attendant and the pilot, or 10.
So there's actually 10.
Yeah. And so 9 bodies, which means, I mean, I guess, did you take that to mean that the 10th person is the killer?
Well, they definitely are saying that that's what they think could be. I think that, at least that's how I took it, that officer is saying that if there's 10 people, why is there 10 passports but 9 bodies? So probably, plus they also make a point of saying like all the bodies were neatly arranged, like somebody had to put them there. So like they can't all put their own bodies there. There had to be somebody that moved them.
What do you mean move them? Like the army got there and collected the bodies?
They said something about, didn't they say something about like the bodies were lined up or something, the way they found them?
I didn't catch that.
Like all the bodies were.
Sorry, what?
That's possible. I didn't catch that, but that's
possible. It wasn't a super important thing. It just was something like, here it is. Wait. The bodies were lined up in the pit. They found them. So that's what there was some comment about, like somebody had to put them in the pit and line them up like that. Like they couldn't have.
Okay, but we already saw Zach and Kevin. We already saw 2 people move the flight attendant.
Wait. No, I'm saying this is what the police officers said. Like when they're the ones that are investigating it after the fact, or like that's why they're assuming that there was since there's 10 IDs, that like the 10th person killed all 9. That doesn't mean that's the case. That's just what their assumption was. At least that's how
I mean, no one killed the flight attendant. She was killed on impact, right?
Right, but they weren't on the. They don't know that because they don't know what happened. That's kind of the point. But it's implying that. It doesn't mean that's the case. I mean, I think it's very, very possible that somebody else is in the jungle, or multiple people could be in the jungle.
I mean, Just Me agrees that Just Me thinks, at least right now for one episode, that the 10th person is the killer, and if you knew who the 9 bodies are,
it's definitely the implication at any rate.
Although it seems like but there's more to it, because all they got to do is look at the 9 bodies and the 10 passports, line them up,
one doesn't match. I know,
and you know who it is, and that's not a show. So
no, well, but yeah, unless I don't know, can they identify the bodies? I don't know what they look like. They haven't said.
I mean, it's only been 9 days. It's only been 9 days. I think you could easily tell the women from the men.
I know they could have shot their faces off. I have no idea.
Well, we're not aware of any gun.
No, I know.
And we already know that 2 of them didn't die from a gunshot.
Yes,
I mean, look, Gene Hackman was dead 9 days, and they could identify him.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And
you're right. I'm just saying, like, maybe they couldn't identify. I don't know, because they haven't showed us the bodies yet. Is my point. Like, we don't know.
Nobody's looked at them yet. They only got moved in 5 minutes ago. Like, no,
right?
No,
it's only the second. It's only the first episode.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
I just think that it's not that simple, or it wouldn't be a show.
No, yeah, I agree. I think it could be either or, but it's definitely the implication. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know, but it's definitely.
I mean, I don't know if Cora and Amelia are going to try to steal 1 or more bodies before the inspector gets there. I don't know, right? Like, who knows what's going to happen there.
I think. What are you doing?
Sorry, I was just getting.
I think it gives another level to it, though. The whole thing, like on the outside, that this is all a flashback. I think that it's an interesting. I like the way they're doing it with that, because they little bits of information.
It's risky. I think you have to be a little careful with shows about survivors of a plane crash not being honest about who they are, which is like the entire premise of Lost. Not the entire premise, but much of the first season of Lost is like plane crash.
I mean, there's going to be
honest about who they are.
There's going to be people comparing it to Lost. I mean, just because it's a plane crash show, so it's kind of like some of that you can't avoid. But
yeah, but there's that extra element of like nobody, like everybody in Lost was hiding all these secrets about themselves, right? And most of them not telling the truth about why they were even on the plane.
That's true.
So there's that. I did think the plane crash scene was done pretty well. I thought it looked pretty good.
It's such a tiny area, though. That's what I thought was funny. Like, I was thinking about, because I am comparing it to Lost because it's hard not to, like I was thinking about how it had like such that large crash, and then here you have like this tiny little plane in this tiny little area. It does look like it was done well. It's just like such a big contrast though that it's kind of
I thought it was well done the way.
No, it is well done. I just think I don't know, to me I thought it was funny, just like I said, the contrast for whatever reason I thought was funny. But
yeah, I didn't think about Lost real. I mean, I think it was better done than Lost in some ways, in terms of the experience of the passengers inside the cabin as it's happening.
Yeah,
and I thought it was kind of believable that a small light plane like this could come down,
survive, and could survive too. Like the fact that only 2 people died, like it doesn't seem.
Well, the pilot,
far-fetched that
the pilot knew what was happening. He knew he was going to crash. Like, and I thought it looked good. I thought it didn't look like bad CGI. It looked like, yeah, I thought it was good. I worry a little bit that there's too much going on in this show. Like, there's the straight up, like, we're lost in the woods. Is there a killer among us? Is the killer one of us, or is it not one of us? I mean, I did think it was kind of shocking to me that no one was going to stay awake and keep watch, or either over the sick man or just over their campsite. Like, couldn't there be, like, I don't know, like jaguars or wild pigs or, I don't know, anacondas or whatever could be in this forest, right? Like, shouldn't somebody stay awake?
No, yeah, you're right. That is a good point I hadn't thought about. But see, that's why I would be inside the plane. I'd be like, I ain't sitting out there to find out.
Look, Jamie, if a snake comes in there, you're never getting out.
You're totally right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, I would
put yourself in a trap by sleeping inside there. But like, it's shocking that they weren't like, who wants to take the first watch? Like, wouldn't you naturally be like, who wants the first watch? Like, and we got a sick man that needs to be watched also. And like, that was shocking to me.
Yeah, that is a little surprising they didn't. I hadn't really thought about it at the time, but now that you're saying that, it is a little surprising.
Yeah.
But as much as, especially because of not untrustworthy, as much as they don't trust each other, they seem to be easygoing for not trusting each other, I guess, at this point. Because you're right. I would think one of them would have at least. But then again, could they really have trusted the person that kept watch, though, necessarily? I don't know.
But like, to watch for animals.
Yes.
Right?
No, you're totally right. I'm not disagreeing with you. But...
Or if a plane flies over and you want to try to, like, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Or if the army's like, is anybody out there? Someone would be awake and say, yes, we're here. Like, right?
We're
like,
here,
you think there's going to be a search party. You should be. It just was surprising to me. But there's this element of, like, the whole 10 little Indians setup. Okay. But now there's also, everybody is, like, suspicious, which reminds me a little bit of, like, a Murder at the Top of the World, Murder at the End of the World that we just watched last year, where they were in Iceland and or Greenland or whatever they were. And
as much as they're out in the open, it still has a sort of claustrophobic, like, small feeling, like an intimate, I don't know how to explain what I'm saying.
I mean, my comparison there was that every person in that hotel was a suspect, right? And like, was being investigated. So there's that. And then there's all this going on at the morgue. There's that level of mystery. I'm just a little worried it could be too much. And I hope
all I will say is, so far, I've liked it. I mean, like I said before, I do like murder mysteries. So I think you have to like murder mysteries to like it. But I think it's done pretty well. I'm enjoying it so far.
Well, how many have you watched?
4.
Oh, I hate that.
That was all I was sent. If I was sent all 6, I would have watched all 6. But I was not.
Good. I hate watching shows with you when you watch.
I'm sorry. I've been doing good. Hey, I don't ever give anything away, and I
still hate it.
I'm sorry. I can't help that. I had to do the interviews. Speaking of the interview with Eric McCormick and Lydia Wilson is up. The other ones will be up soon. Because I talked to all
Wilson
of them.
plays Sonia, right?
Yeah. But I talked to all of them plus the creator, so those will be forthcoming.
Okay, cool. So we'll see if they can keep it up, if it can be compelling.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of question that this might be like and I don't know because I haven't seen the end, but it seems like this is set up to probably be a one and done that I don't think they could really, like, pull it another
Yeah.
season because
I don't see
everybody's
how
dead.
that's-
I don't see how that could happen.
No.
No, just me. I don't know the ending. Hey, I'm good at not revealing things. I mean, I don't lie and say I haven't seen it, but I'm good at not revealing things. So, but no, I have no clue. I just want to see the ending. I want to know. But I think it's acted really well too. I think the cast is good. I like the cast. I don't trust any of them, except like I said, after this, I trusted him a little more. I don't know.
Who's him?
The doctor, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
And that was simply because I just don't understand why he would save him just to kill him. It just didn't make sense to me as somebody trying to figure out a murder mystery anyway. Maybe not in real life.
To me, it makes total sense. He's under pressure from the rest of the people in whom he does not want to arouse suspicion. And so he gave in to their demands.
Right. But he could have let him die as he operated on him if he really wanted him dead. That's the way I look at it. Like, look, I'm not saying that people can't be smart enough to know to do that. I'm just saying, like, in real life, I would think that if somebody wanted them dead, they would let them die. They wouldn't like go through all that. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, I don't know. As I said, I don't know the ending, so I could be completely wrong.
I really disagree with you on that, but I don't think that I don't think any of them's a killer. I think it's an external killer who's stalking them.
It could be that too. I've thought that they're part of it too. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And you don't know who's going to survive, who's not going to survive, who you'll be suspicious of. But as of the end of this episode, I was slightly less suspicious of Kevin. That's all I'm saying. I'm that may change.
I mean, I'm looking for. He needs to die because he's a dick. But he's just an unpleasant person. He's just not likable. I mean, I think the presence of suspicious people spying on the morgue makes me think there's a lot more going on here than a random psycho trying to kill 9 people for
and you also got to wonder why. Like, there's got to be a reason. I agree with you. I don't think there's just like a serial killer that's running around. That
what bad luck. We go in a plane crash with a serial killer. That would be the dumbest show ever.
It would be.
So there's somehow these 10 people are either connected or they're just unfortunate that they got in a crash with someone who was, I don't know, smuggling something or like, yeah. So we'll see. I might change my tune by next week, whether it's an external killer or not.
Yeah. But overall, did you like it?
I mean, overall, I didn't hate it. I haven't seen enough of it to like it, but it's not a thing like, I mean, like Lost. I saw that pilot episode and I was like, oh my God, I have to see what happens in the next episode.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Or I'm trying to think of another show that has affected me.
Well, it's not a puzzle box show either. I mean, that's not what this is.
Right, but there are other shows that I instantly,
right. Yeah, no, I'm not saying you couldn't. A
Murder at the End of the World, I instantly liked and wanted to see the next episode, right? Or this is not that show. I'm not like, oh, I can't wait for it. It's not like Paradise that I was like, oh my God, I have to watch all 3 of these in a row now, right?
Yeah,
Paradise grabbed me from the first. I didn't.
I think I also tend to like this type of show more than you do too. So like I think I'm more apt to like something that's this style of show. Like I like a lot of detective murder mystery trying to figure shit out. Yeah. Like that's my thing. So.
I like the Murder at the End of the World, and that was pretty straight up murder.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be some twisty. It doesn't have to be a twisty from. I'm not meaning that. I'm just I do tend to like things where I'm trying to figure things out. That's what I enjoy.
I liked it enough to remain curious and to watch another episode, but I'm not like this is a great show that I'm going to recommend to people until I know more.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm going to throw some fuel on your theories.
Okay.
You guys are speculating about the whole killer thing. They could go the Clue route where they're killing each other.
Oh yeah. That's true. I hadn't thought about that, AJ, but yeah, there doesn't have to be one killer. They can be killing each other.
Hell, the husband might kill the wife, from what I heard you guys talking about those two.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Oh, that's a whole new twist on it, AJ.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Now I got more to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that. Now I have to wonder about that.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm always thinking of different things.
So, yeah. So, what day does this show come out on?
It's on Sundays, I think, isn't
On
it?
Sundays? I don't know. I just watched it like an hour ago.
I watched it a while ago. So
I never know when anything comes out. I look at my, I go on
I look at
streaming and
my-
go, "Ooh, this is on."
Yeah, I don't tend to watch things like the day they come out necessarily, except for certain shows. So I don't know, and I've already seen it. So
No, I
it
text
is
you
on
guys.
Sunday. Yes, it is on Sundays.
I text you guys and say, "What was I supposed to watch this week?" And then I run and watch it.
Speaking of watching, next week
yes.
we're adding Daredevil.
Yes. So starting next week, we're going to add Daredevil. Jamie, are you going to watch Daredevil?
Sure. I haven't watched it yet, but yes, I will.
And then the following week, Wheel of Time.
Yes,
Okay.
Wheel of Time. So yeah, we got a lot coming, and then Doctor Who comes next month, but that's next month.
Yeah. So does Last of Us.
Yes,
Oh,
Last of Us.
Last of Us,
Well.
yeah.
But
All right. So our
Last of Us
show is,
is
we're going to be picking up a lot more stuff in the coming weeks.
But you know,
Yeah.
it's funny. We're talking about these shows that are coming up, yet Paradise ends next week. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, the nice thing though is at least when we pick these other shows up, we won't be doing like as in depth, because I mean we've been taking like 2 hours, or not 2 hours. I guess we took an hour and a half. Whatever. We took a lot longer on Paradise because there was more to break down. So at least when we get more stuff that we're covering, we won't be necessarily going as deep.
We'll
Depends.
moderate
We don't know that yet. It might
Well,
surprise
no,
us.
but I mean, we know that, like, well, I mean, Last of Us isn't like a super complicated, although we're going to do a separate show for that. So I don't know.
Yes, well, we're not going to go 3-4 hours on this. Phantom
Yeah,
Access
fine.
always is like at most like a 2-hour show if we can do it. So we will more shows. We spend less time.
She says as we've spent 2.5 hours talking about 3 shows.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
We also have that luxury though, because it's only 3 shows.
No, I know. I'm just.
So yeah. So anyway, we'll have.
Yes.
I'm psyched to watch Daredevil. I'm not really like a I mean, I watched the old movie, the Ben Affleck movie, and Daredevil also like put in an appearance, an Avengers appearance this year, right?
Oh, you didn't watch the Netflix series?
No, I did not. Was it good?
I didn't either.
Yeah, it was very good.
It's not required watching though for this new Disney series.
No, I don't think
Not
so.
necessarily. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
So I'm not gonna run.
Probably not, since the last time that was on was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be references, but
Yeah. And then if you guys, when you eventually see Captain America, we'll talk about that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. And
Anything else? See, there's stuff coming out, but it's not necessarily stuff we usually cover. Like Leverage is coming soon, but we don't necessarily cover that on the show.
and in another 6 weeks we'll be picking up Andor also when that comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
or as we like to call it, Office the Empire Edition.
Yep.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, yes.
Well,
thank you, everybody who listened. If you missed any of our coverage tonight of any of these 3 shows, you can restream this later. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Check out all our other interviews at the channel and at scifivision.com. And like I said, please, comment too, even after live chat, because it really helps with the algorithm. Saturday is Severance at 10, or no, we did 11 last week, right? So yeah, 11 p.m. Eastern. The watch party is at 10, I think. God, I need to like have these written down because I don't have them on top of my head. These are, you can all find the schedules in Discord, which I pinned in the chat. So please join our Discord. You can join the watch party, see our live streams. But Saturday is Severance, which will be me and L'Oreal's joining me as a guest host since Karen will not be here. And then Sunday is Yellow Jacket show, which I believe is going to be at 10:30. I haven't scheduled it yet. But like I said, we'll be joined by Antler Queens, Cyber Queen Media, because we're doing a collab with that. And then as soon as I find out the date and time that Nia is coming on, who plays Tina Keela, I will change the time and the date on the one that's set up. I never know what to do, because if I delete it, then like the link is no good. So I don't know if I should just like change it to some time in the future that's like irrelevant, or just leave it till I find out. I was hoping I'd find out before the show, but I don't have an answer yet. So if it takes too long, I'll move it to a future date. But that should be soon. And then later in the season, we also have Vanessa, who plays Jen, who is coming and doing our Yellow Jackets as well. So
Cool.
yeah, and we're still trying to get more Severance interviews, more Yellow Jackets interviews. And like I said, I will have the rest of the interviews up for Nine Bodies pretty soon. Trying to think any other stuff that I have coming up. Jacob Anderson interviews going up hopefully tomorrow, because of the whole site issues I've had. That hasn't gone up, and it should have. That's going to be up. There's still more reality stuff for people who like that. Deal or No Deal Island. Dark Winds interview coming up soon. I'm trying to think what else. I feel like there's been a lot of stuff all at once. Like it's always like nothing and then tons of stuff. That's what happens every time.
Yep.
Let's see, 1923. Those interviews will be coming up soon. Rule Breakers, that was a movie. Yeah, and more Surface. Still have a couple more of those. And yeah, and I have some other interview. Oh, and I just did Mixtape, which is going to be premiering at South by Southwest.
Jamie, you watch Surface?
Yeah, I covered that season 2. Well, this is season 2. Yeah.
I didn't.
Right.
I'm still on season 1. I forgot I started watching it one day. I was like, oh yeah, I still have Surface to watch.
Yeah, it's on. That's an interesting mystery. It's different.
Yeah. Just when you think you got it figured out, it kind of turns it on its ear.
Yeah. It's got a lot going on, and it's interesting this season. But that one interview for that's up, and the other ones are still going up. And then, like I said, I just did Mixtape with Jim Sturgis, and don't want to mess up the guy's name. The one who plays the younger version of him as well, Rory Walton Smith. I just did that today, so that will be coming out soon. Like I said, that series is going to be premiering at South by Southwest. I'm not sure when it's coming to network or streaming yet, but that's what that premiere is. You know, it was really strange. I didn't tell him this, but it just was so weird. Like, you know how sometimes you just have weird coincidences. Yesterday I walked in the living room past our TV, and my mom was watching Geostorm, and I looked at the screen. I'm like, I think I'm interviewing that actor tomorrow. It was Jim Sturgis. That was weird. That was like really weird. So,
Wow.
But yes, it was, and they were both very nice. So yeah, that's coming too. Yeah, so we hope to see you guys. I guess Saturday is the next thing, and also please go in Discord. Tell us what kind of watch parties you want to have too. We've been trying to think of some other things we may watch or rewatch that might be some fun. So. All righty, guys.
Okay, cool.
I think that's about it.
Right.
It's a wrap.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Everybody in the chat.
Yes, thank you. If you hung in with us, we appreciate it greatly.
All right. Have a good week,
Good night,
guys.
ladies.
Giving us your thoughts, guys. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.